Welcome back, 13 Card Subject Change, the show that is going to eventually have a much better studio. But wow, hopefully to all of you, we fixed our audio problems. It sounded better to me. Boys, what you think?
We get better week to week.
Yeah.
That's good. And I have to say one thing before we start out to my geekness. May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
Well, I'm glad that we did that. I always like to do
Can't
stuff
play
like,
any music because I get sued by Disney.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm working on the relationship so people can call us sellouts to Disney. You never know.
yeah, but at the same time,
if they pay me,
I'm not
anything.
I'm not like the idiot politicians in Florida who want to go after Disney for their wokeness, and I'm like, oh, you want to fight the mouse?
I wanted the mouse to pay me.
Yeah.
Easiest check ever.
So I usually like to do this at
yes.
at the beginning of the show because I want to try to get through the rest of the show with some levity, some fun, and some analytics. But it has now been released by her herself. Try to get through this. Rebel has now officially posted that her ALS has gone to terminal. And this is a blow to the entire wrestling community. Obviously, not much of a WWE run. But Jesse, quite the mainstay in TNA for a while. Obviously had a small AEW run. We obviously have chronicled the issues she's had with a lot of the AEW fan base over the years. But we're not going to it's hard to get through it because every time you spoke to somebody who had ever worked with her, this is one of those. And Jesse, look, stop me if it's wrong,
Okay.
But it's one of those Wyndham type things where it's like she just seemed like she got along with everybody and was just a really great person.
Within her peers, she's very well loved.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've never met her or anything like that, so I couldn't tell you from personal experience. But I can say this is pretty damn heartbreaking. When this happened with Steve Mongo, he was kind of already semi-retired.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
You know, WCW was already dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is
also
some
in an
pretty
age-
heartbreaking stuff.
And it was also in an age where the only way you kind of were kept updated by him was by ESPN covering
Right.
Bears stuff. So,
Right.
waited too long to get in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. I don't know what the hell that was about. The voting for Hall of Fame really just needs to get down to the to the brass tacks
It's pretty out of whack. But
in all sports,
to
honestly.
I think it's Tanisha Brooks or
Yeah.
Her
Tania
yeah.
Brooks.
Tania Brooks.
Yep.
Rebel.
She is only 47.
Just first of all, from my family to yours, just all the love in the world. I can't imagine.
It's a very slow and painful death.
I cannot
Unfortunately, yeah.
imagine like and you don't know when, and it's just it's truly heartbreaking. Seems like a really good person. Does not like these horrible diseases, which I mean are just a part of our makeup and our DNA as human beings. We cancers, your ALS, AIDS, a lot of that stuff that can really slowly kill you. They're terrible diseases. Wish we had a cure for them all. We really don't.
And this kind of does tie into this, folks. Jesse, obviously the most famous person with ALS, was a former member of your team.
Lou Gehrig.
And Jesse, I would like to extend, because I know how much you love your sports world, extends to you and the Yankees family for the passing of legendary broadcaster John Sterling.
Who also, I mean, he did some work for the Atlanta Braves too.
Yeah.
His dream job was always the Yankees. He got it at 50. The voice almost seems light. He was a companion for those who would listen on radio or listen through, what became the network where you can listen on your phone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just now he retired a few years ago, so
Yeah.
we all got to properly send him off in the retirement. Knowing the Yankees, will give him a fitting tribute for the rest of the year.
He was the voice through the golden years of Steinbrenner's 90s Yankees.
Absolutely.
One thing that defines the 90s is the tech boom and the dominance of the Yankees.
And I did meet, really awesome human being.
Yeah.
To this weekend, I mean, it was semi-productive for me, but in the worlds in which I find myself a fan of and loving things, it was kind of sad. So to Rebel, nothing but love, and you live your days out the best way you can. And thank you for all the years of service to Louis. I mean, man, all the years of service and just being our friend, calling these Yankee games, making the team feel more legendary than George could have ever imagined. God rest his soul as well. Probably up in heaven firing one of the angels right now.
All right, I'm going to try to transition into something that I wanted to talk about. Jesse, it's very...
So Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Jesse, it's interesting that you bring that up.
Oh, he's going to be around. No, he's taking some...
It's been announced, even though Jesse seems to be the only person in the world reminding people the man is still actively battling cancer, but, we're not going to pretend like that's not
true.
Said. Jesse, it's interesting.
It's in
I got sent a video the other day on TikTok from somebody, and it was an interesting thing. It was an interview with some guy. I have no other context other than this, what he said, but it was basically, he was talking about the modern-day workforce. And the modern-day workforce, he believes, and I have seen it firsthand, has become the kids who did all the work in the class project are now the hardest workers in all of the business world, and they still get shit on. So basically what I'm saying is, Jesse, a proper manager in sports, in anywhere,
sure.
If you have someone who shows up to work, they get their work done, they need minimal supervision, and they, are good as long as you've given them the proper training, those really aren't the people you should be focusing your time on.
Okay.
In terms of being a manager.
Sure.
Because what you should be doing is going to the, sometimes it is, sometimes it's lack of training or confidence, whatever. The lazy C player people need more, attention from management,
sure.
I guess we'll say.
Sure.
Well, it's interesting that's said because, Jesse, I think a lot of people, and there's a lot of stories that are coming out that are somewhat confirmed and are somewhat disputed, but that's because Tony Khan never says a goddamn word in his life.
Oh, we're talking about this.
Jesse, I think that we need to start understanding that the slight boom that they had at the start of the year is now going away.
Leroy, look at my face.
Because...
Describe my face to people.
Go ahead, Leroy.
He had a shit and
Oh, yeah.
He does.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, continue.
So Jesse...
You got to get the cameras working.
Before we get to the actual news, I'll get my opening monologue over.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm a patient man.
I know. You're not, but okay. But anyway, I've seen you go on a first date.
True.
He's not patient. Back and look at Zach. What? Shut the fuck up.
But no. For this story, I will be very patient.
Okay.
You go ahead, sir.
I think it is worth saying, Jesse, that in the years that we have watched wrestling, whether it be back to the 70s and 60s till now, Leroy in the 1800s when Abe Lincoln was putting those chokeholds on people.
That's right. The first sleeper hold.
Dude, I was watching Moses kick ass.
All right, fair enough.
Before his wife got him killed, right?
Yeah. So anyway, Jesse, I think we're getting to a point where part of Tony's biggest problem is he is the type of manager who is sitting there and he is putting way too much time and effort into C+ people.
Okay.
And not focusing on the main event. And I can see the foot tapping. So Jesse, would you like to announce to the people what has been fact-checked, triple-checked, reported? Go ahead, Jesse. The floor is yours.
To the sickos.
They listen.
I want you guys to know. I gave him more credit than he deserved. Because I said about the TV deal, we probably won't hear about this TV deal until like 2028.
Yeah.
Right.
You gave him 2 more years.
Oh, this lying piece of shit.
Yeah.
He's a lying piece of shit. And the best part is you're going to believe the lies because you have no other relationship to go to. You've burned all bridges. You've got nowhere else to go. Where the rest of us who watch everything else on the planet, even if WWE is quite a letdown right now, Tony Khan being exposed as a big lying piece of shit is some of the best news I got this weekend. Leroy, let me break this story down. And I laughed my fucking ass off when I saw it on Saturday. So apparently, technically, now there is some news, I believe. If you want to, Zach, check this out. I haven't been able to check out my movie news. that maybe this merger might get blocked.
Yeah.
So he's going to check
I've been
that
hearing
out.
about that too,
yeah,
yes.
so he'll check that out. But Paramount sources have put out that they had already told Tony Khan when the deal is done, there is no guarantee of any re-option from us because guess what?
Go ahead and finish your statement.
They already have a deal in place, of course, with TKO and WWE. Now, they said they were not against keeping the company, but they would also give him the right to find, in the next 12 to 16 months, some new partners, if we feel like. Now, the reason I laughed my fucking ass off is because I went, damn, the son of a bitch fooled me. Some of my sources were fooled by this son of a bitch. The reason I said, by the way, go Arsenal. Whoop Fulham's ass 3-0. Great job, Arsenal. I don't even like Arsenal. Let me be clear. To our fans, I am sorry that we all got this so wrong because Tony Khan, for the last, 4 years, has just lied and be like, no, the deal is great. Our partners over there are great. We have nothing to worry about. And
he also said they were privately owned by themselves,
correct.
but John Moxley's bullshit exposed
that. So
before you go on, Jesse, I found what you wanted. As of Deadline, who everyone can say, well, Deadline, they're not the New York Times.
Deadline's a major
They've been breaking
trade.
stories for years, and people have had to go back and apologize.
Deadline's a big trade.
Paramount hit with antitrust lawsuit by consumers seeking to stop the merger.
Okay.
That was as of 4 days ago.
Okay. So...
But anyway, back to what you were saying.
Okay, so...
I also have this from... so, Jesse, I'll read this out for you. So, this is from Nick LaPiccolo.
Okay.
He says, WBD told Tony Khan in August they would not renew AEW. He confirmed it and triple-sourced it. That was Nick.
Right.
Leroy, could you look this up for me, see what publication he's from? So, it's Nick, LOPICCOLO.
Hold on.
Okay, yeah. But anyway, so Jesse, Leroy will stop me for that spelling in a second.
Correct.
But anyway, so he confirmed it directly and triple sourced it. 8 months of nothing, no plan, no growth, no direction.
Right.
The only distributor left. Okay, so you want Nick LOPICCOLO.
LOPICCOLO.
Yes.
He's a talent agent.
Yep. Okay. So that's someone that I personally would expect to have some knowledge about this because, Jesse, what is AEW if not a collector of talent? So anyway, back to my point here, Jesse. The only distributor left, rumored, YouTube and Google. The My AEW app isn't realistic and is a death sentence in 2026. It's too late to build, no real path to scale, which, by the way, that's been shown in their TV ratings since literally night one. When you get to 1.4 million and then you dip down to 1 million the next week, we give you a pass because you've literally been doing this for 2 weeks, not 7 years fucking later.
He is technically a sports talent agent.
Which, by the way,
that's what he is.
Yep. Which, by the way, this is the guy who has been supposedly having a lot of clients who have been having issues with a lot of wrestling companies. Anyway, so Jesse, I'll finish up here. Who's selling ads? Kiswe is not the answer, Dave said. New app, new game, but not the best.
Right.
First game worked out real well. Hold Tony's feet to the fire. Fans deserve the truth. Paramount's out. WBD's out. The CW and Roku are out. You had the CW, by the way. You said no. Amazon and Fox are reportedly also out. Last I checked, they're pretty big distributors.
They are.
And ask Tony Khan the real questions about the network, line, the locker room, and the fans. And he'll just tell you everything's great.
Yep.
So, Jesse, that's all out there. How about you go ahead and finish your little soliloquy here?
I repeat.
Yes.
I repeat.
Yes.
And I heard this over the weekend also.
I do not want AEW as a whole to die.
I got accused of that this morning. Once again, anything involving Tony Khan and AEW is anti. I'd like to say to our boy, Mr. first place beard. Sorry, Leroy. Commander Q, I'd like to point out, just because I sit there and tell you that Bayley wouldn't work in AEW because the AEW women's division is so bad their own fans don't speak on it, doesn't mean that I hate all AEW. Jesse, go ahead and continue.
I do not want
seventh place beard.
AEW to die. As a matter of fact, it would get, it's insane to say, it would get a better life with a new owner and different people running it.
Yes.
It would be much better off.
Which, by the way, Jesse, before you go on, let's acknowledge this for a second, because we've always said, on the surface, Tony Khan was the best thing that happened to the wrestling business.
Sure.
And before you go on, I at least want to point out, the guy is clearly a good-intentioned human being. He seems to be a billionaire with a certain amount of morale.
Sure.
I know that many of them normally don't, and when you look at some of the other business dealings he's been a part of, he has them to a point.
Sure.
But I do think we need to explain, he made wrestlers' salaries go up.
Yeah.
He forced Vince McMahon to basically try for a little bit, and he was at least someone who got in the wrestling business who gave us hope and a chance. 7 years later, he shot all that to hell, but now back to your point.
Oh, he's fucked this up.
Oh, God.
Oh, he's fucked this up.
He blew his wad in year 2.
Oh, he's major.
It's not even that, Leroy. This is a guy who went out there and he literally talked about how great the meal was before he finished cooking it. This guy has bragged about TV deals and partnerships, and Jesse, all he's been doing backstage is apparently burning every bridge possible. How do you not get Amazon to like you? Fox likes people with money.
When we talk about...
Well, he's not friends with Trump.
When we talk about...
Jesse, hold on, Jesse, before you go on. Tony Khan ain't friends with Donald Trump?
Or maybe his dad maybe is.
They've been at the inaugurations. So.
They've been there.
Then why can't he get Fox? Jeez,
so, to a side note there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For a nepo baby...
Yeah.
Whose dad gives him all the money in the world.
Jesse, I apologize. We here at 13 Card Sub Exchange like to talk as much truth as we have sources to. Jesse, he has more money than the rest of the world.
Correct. So,
he's a really nice guy.
So, his father finances most of the stuff. Now, Fulham has been back in the Premier League and got their ass whooped. But top 10 team, whatever, that's good for.
They're not getting relegated, boys.
They were kind of winning, and then now they're not.
Right now, that's West Ham. That's not going to be good.
I love Ham.
When was the last time West Ham was in the Champions League? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Especially since they were the ones who got put in that brand new big ass stadium that they just built too.
Yep.
That's a different conversation for another time.
Yep.
And a different podcast.
Love soccer.
I don't.
The more I've watched in the last 10 years, the more I love it. The grittiness, the corruption, I love it.
Or as our friends across the
So you're
water
watching women's soccer. Got it.
I do when I can.
Like our friends in Europe that listen to us, it's football.
I watch women's hockey, college hockey.
That's some good.
Hey, they allow hitting in the PWHL.
They probably should just put them in the NHL, but I digress.
After what I saw in the Wild Avalanche game to start the game, I don't think you want Marcus Foligno hitting a woman.
They could take it. So here's the thing.
Well, they got to hit first. If they can take it,
I am not saying.
Leroy, look up Marcus Foligno's size and then tell me that would work out. Go ahead.
I am not saying I want AEW to die.
Who's he play for?
Minnesota Wild.
But AEW, if someone wanted to, I don't know who the billionaire is, who the rich guys are.
Yeah.
I think you could still hire Eric Bischoff.
Oh yeah.
I think he's still hireable because that, of course.
All he's doing is the podcast up in the mountains.
Hulk Hogan passed away, so that company they were going to do is gone.
Dead and gone.
So
Hulk Hogan was the only thing selling that.
Now that it looks like Tony has royally fucked this up.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to bid for it and just bring in Eric Bischoff.
So based on what we have, Jesse, the guy...
Now here's what sucks for the wrestlers, though, if this happens.
Yeah. Ain't nobody going to pay you the way he's paying you.
And we're going to get to TKO and their bullshit.
Yeah.
Because, WWE's made like close to $9 billion.
Which, by the way, Jesse, has 1.5 times paid them off from what they purchased
Correct.
it for, but okay.
Whatever new owners get this company from Tony Khan, if somebody were to buy it from him,
making $60,000 a year.
A lot of you dudes are probably going down to the $20,000 to $30,000 range,
and you'll be lucky if you get that. Oh, and by the way, Jesse, the other part is,
and by the way,
you're going to have to come to work for that $20,000.
The 220 people on the roster, 80 of you are about to lose your job, probably.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Some of you probably want to at this point because.
Sure.
You've just been sitting at home, not being talked to. Your career's being forgotten
But
about.
for those of you, because by the way, we've talked to a lot of people who again, whose names we will not divulge because they are in the talent version of the business.
Correct.
There are a lot of those weekend warriors who are like, wait a minute, I'm making $60,000 to sit at home and do nothing. Unfortunately, that ain't going to happen anymore.
I want to do a slight impression of somebody talking to Tony Khan on the phone. Thank you, Lionel Richie, for this lovely song. Because all they goes, hello. And they don't hear anything. You're welcome.
I'm just glad that you used the real version and not the crappy Adele version.
I do believe
you can't.
I believe
that's a good song. You can't fuck that up.
Now let's talk. Let's talk about what ifs here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, but before you go on, Jesse, so what? Like, let's remind people, he's got maybe till the end of the year to figure out what to do with this.
Correct. So let's talk about what ifs. What if Tony Khan, really the only partner he's got is YouTube, right?
That's something.
Does he continue this? Maybe.
Because, Jesse, clearly, part of what the allure to Tony has been, and if you watch as many interviews as I have with this guy, it's clear. There is a lot, and you and I have dealt with these people, there is a lot about running a big technical production that makes people go wide-eyed.
Sure.
Especially when they're the one at the top.
Sure.
Jesse, you've worked in the music industry. When guys get to direct their own music videos after a while and they're not hiring a director, oh boy, do the eyes go wide at the opportunity to make this look good.
Right, right.
Which is why some of the bigger bands just hire someone to do it for them.
So what'll be interesting, right, is it could be a restart for him to go on YouTube and really you're really indie in this thing, but
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if, here's the other big what if, Daddy hops in and goes, son, it's time. It's time to sell this.
Because, Jesse,
thing.
to be fair, you had talked about it multiple times on this show, and Leroy, you brought it up a couple times too. It's one thing for Daddy to sit there and say, I don't care,
right.
I'm not losing billions, but
right.
I'm not making anything on
right.
it. But it's also been almost like Shad has been paying to keep his son to the left while he deals with the shit that's actually making the family money.
The NFL, his patents, and Fulham.
And the
Correct.
unfortunate part about all of that, Jesse, is he was able to keep him.
And whatever deal he has in place with Wimbledon, I don't even know.
Wembley.
Thank you.
Yeah, Wembley. But anyway, But Jesse, it seems like though what was able to justify Shad's keeping his son away was the fact that, well, you are getting broadcast deals. You are making deals here, son.
Right.
But now we're in a situation where...
Plus, I think the other major thing, really, and I said it at the time,
yeah.
and no one wanted to confirm it, but it was clear to me, because I'm like, why is his sister involved?
Yeah.
He wanted to fuck with Vince, because he was still mad about the shit with the XFL and some of the other shit.
Right, yeah. But now, Jesse, there's no reason for Shad to be mad about the XFL anymore. It's been killed twice. It's gone. It's not coming back.
Correct.
Although, did Rock sell that to the UFL?
I believe so.
So WWE has no rights to XFL. Okay.
No, that was a freaking merger that.
No.
No, it was no. So it was half a merger, but they basically bought it.
Yeah.
Pretty
but anyway,
much, yeah.
But anyway,
it's like the TKO deal.
So basically, now we have Daddy doesn't need to be petty anymore.
Correct.
We have you can't stand on your own 2 feet to even put it on.
Correct.
And all of a sudden, now you're going to have to go back to Dad and ask him for broadcasting help, which he, A, already kind of did, and B, is going to look at you and be like, wait a minute, you didn't have a backup plan? You don't think TKO, WWE right now, if they get dropped by Netflix, don't have a backup plan?
I'm sure they do. I mean, well, we're going to get into TKO here. I'm about sick of these motherfuckers. It's just been 1 month and a half of just like I like the diehard UFC fans. We really all should have took heeds to their warnings. Like, we really should have took heeds to their warnings of what Endeavor does. The reason I do believe if he goes to YouTube and there's no path out of that maybe he looks for a seller or a buyer is, one, somebody, right? Somebody, because there's a lot of people who are interested in pro wrestling, don't talk about it because for some reason some people in the mainstream are now pushing how it's not cool. Don't know why. Shut the fuck up. Like, if you're a third-rate former reporter from ESPN, you shouldn't even be talking, period. Shut the fuck up. But some people will push this narrative, and it's a terrible narrative, but somebody will be interested because they'll see, well, WWE when it had its shit together,
made $1 billion in a week.
Has made close to $9 billion in these last few years. That's incredible money.
Yeah.
That interests a billionaire. Now, you're going to take a loss when you first get it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to re-up its brand in every way possible.
Jesse,
you got to change everything.
But see, Jesse, now let's get to the point that.
Oh, and by the way, the big thing you have to do if you buy this.
Yeah.
You got to get wrestling people involved.
Okay, good news. I was literally going there. Let's now talk about, well, what any smart business person would have done in the first place. Would have literally put out feelers, used their connections in the industry, and been like, okay, Jim Cornette would have had a job from like 50 other billionaires in a fucking heartbeat because they would have been like, yeah, well, this guy seems to know what he's talking about, and he's the historian on everything, and he's had the job 7 times.
I got told people, I get Jim Cornette doesn't want to do wrestling anymore. I get it. Eric Bischoff has never said he would not get back into the game.
Jesse, I actually disagree with you because Jim Cornette has multiple times said, as long as I get to stay in the castle and somebody offers me enough money, then there's a conversation to be had on my desk. But no, Jesse, but that's the thing.
And he could stay there and still do it.
Jesse, when you buy a sports team, let's look at the Rams, and then they get moved from St. Louis to L.A. What was the first thing the fucking family did? Hired the best football people they could.
Correct.
They hired Sean McVay after getting rid of Jeff Fisher. Was it? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Jeff was there for a year.
Yeah. But anyway, Jesse,
because it was smart to keep an NFL guy there.
Right. But that's the thing, Jesse. When they finally started to take it seriously, they hired a GM who is aggressive as hell, which is what you like when you're a billionaire, and they hired a guy who, when he spoke football, you were like, well, it's a foreign language to me, so he obviously knows what he's talking about. Because Sean McVay is a savant.
He's a genius.
He's an absolute savant. But Jesse, they said, okay, if we're going to buy this, if we're going to invest in it, if we're going to try to be successful. By the way, folks, in sports, Tom Polat, if that's your real name, shut the fuck up and listen to my words. Hire good people. Don't just fucking sit there and think you can do this. Jesse, success is the only thing that makes money in sports.
Correct.
Okay, it's the only thing that makes money.
Correct.
The fact of the matter is this. Because, by the way, the LA Rams get the same amount of money from the NFL as the Jacksonville Jaguars, but the LA Rams get a lot of extra money because they win.
Correct.
You hire people who know what the fuck they're doing. And that's what actual billionaires do, and that's why Jim Cornette, in the stuff he's been allowed to say because of the NDA he signed, he said, I gave up listening to the guy when I found out that he said, I'm going to run it. And he goes, okay, why? And unfortunately, despite what people are desperate to say in the wrestling world, whether it be talent or fans pissed off by Vince, Jesse, it hasn't worked.
No.
And it's to a point where this guy does not have any indication that A, he knew what he was doing in the first place, or B, Jesse, it's been 7 years and he actually hasn't gotten better.
Right.
He's doubling. You talk about time. He's quadrupling down on the ideas that used to lose him when we could see the ratings every week, 100,000 every quarter.
Right.
He's quadrupling down on these ideas. And by the way, Jesse, what is the most depreciating asset? An older star who's no longer hitting for average.
Right.
And George Steinbrenner would have kicked his ass out, pay whatever he had to pay.
The moment I started, it's the old. I mean, he did it quite a few times. But to go to Moneyball, one of the movies we quote the most,
David Justice.
It was a real fact that David Justice had to be told, "Wait, you think we're paying you $20? No. The Yankees are paying us paying you $17 million to play against them. That's what they think about you.
That George Steinbrenner wrote a $17 million check that quote unquote you're going to cash at the end of the year, but just know he wrote it to get rid of you,
Right?
So that he didn't have to see you anymore.
Correct.
So, Jesse, like you said, there might be some losses at the beginning, but like you said, I think right now, if you were to buy it and you wanted it to be successful, the best options you would have would be to call an Eric Bischoff, gauge what he feels, figure out what he wants to do. Some people would tell you about Vince Russo, and then you'd go, wait, why does this guy have all these lawsuits?
Don't you fucking do it. You want to kill your company? Then you do it. If you want to kill your company. Here's the thing. Juggalo Pro Wrestling can survive it because no one has ever taken it seriously anyway.
True.
But, like, it would, like, well, to be fair to GCW, it is actually taken very seriously. That's why when Jim has a certain issues, it's like, yeah, Jim, but that's not all of it. Like, it's easy to fight back against that.
Right, yeah.
But, yeah, otherwise, like, yeah, you get an Eric Bischoff. I mean, I don't know if Shane would even be interested in the fucking thing.
Because you did report there's like maybe a falling out with the family.
Maybe it seems like there is a partial. Maybe it's just with his father.
But he was there with his mom.
But he was there with his mom
at the
correspondence dinner.
At the alleged assassination attempt.
Where a guy ran by the Secret Service with a shotgun. Not a fucking chance.
And all those people didn't just go running for their lives like a normal person in a shooting. Yeah, sure.
Those guys are all former like special ops members. There's just not a chance.
No.
It's like, why didn't you move, Trump? I was pooping.
Yeah, he probably was.
Yeah. Well, no.
Anyway,
no. To be fair, they had been sitting there for what? Already about 30 minutes. He had already taken a shit.
By the way, he didn't go to any one of these, and now he finally goes to one if somebody tries to kill him. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Where'd JD go?
So
I'm sorry.
So anyway, Jesse, let me wrap this back into this. What you're basically telling everyone, and I'm going to ask you the question. We're finally at the point where it might finally come out, not just all the lies that are being exposed, everything else. People are about to possibly learn all these champions of TK, not TKO, but TK. Jesse, it's really only ever been that Shad didn't want to care.
That's it. That's it. Because, by the way, Fulham was in League 2. Daddy stepped back in. Fulham's back in the Premier League.
Yep. Jaguars.
The Jaguars has never been his thing. He's had some like personnel jobs.
Yeah.
But for the analytical, but like that's mostly Daddy. And I can tell you that's mostly Daddy because we all saw what happened with Urban Meyer. That was mostly Papa.
Because Tony Khan would have never.
He would have never fired Urban Meyer.
Nope. Urban would have finished the season.
Daddy was like,
"You ain't making it at the press conference.
This is a disaster." I don't even. He probably was like, "You should be thanking me. I let you back on the fucking plane."
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Here's the thing. I don't want it to die, but I will say this: it could be a brighter day if someone else is willing to buy the company. Once again, we're back to the old Vince McMahon adage of, if he's willing to give this the fuck up for once and retire, and we got it for a short time, this could be good.
And that's
again.
the other thing, Jesse, that like we need to talk about is everyone wants to rip on the booking and the celebrities and this and that. But Jesse, when you look at AEW, they have never found anything that sustainably has kept the ratings up.
Correct.
And WWE for a time, Jesse, as you keep hearkening back to, Jesse, when we got Triple H unabated, uninterrupted, to the fucking 9, he was the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Jesse, he wasn't the only guy because he trusts his people. But when he was the final say and didn't have somebody upstairs where he had to send the fucking script, and nobody was calling him 7 times a day, Jesse, it was arguably the biggest boom the wrestling business had seen in fucking 30 years.
We had a lot of wrestling pundits have talked about it. It's like, yo, this is the effects in pro wrestling of long-term booking and storytelling, people become very interested in this
Because,
thing.
Jesse, this is what I've been
Because,
championing.
by the way, that's how it used to always work.
And, Jesse, this is what I've been trying to get people to understand for the last fucking 6 months that WWE's been having this whatever nose spiral they're in.
Whatever the fuck's going on, which we'll get into.
Jesse, I've tried to get people to understand. You all universally across the board
Right.
said that Black and Gold was peak pro wrestling
It was awesome.
for the years that Triple H had full control.
It was awesome.
So you're telling me that guy just all of a sudden turned around and
Yeah.
stopped being able to do this?
No.
That's not how that
That's
works.
not how that works.
Jesse, managers will always get shit on because you can't cut a $200 million player.
Right.
But when the roster gets bad, what's a guy supposed to do?
I remember we used to always say, like, and by the way, it was sought out to be true, right? Like, when Tom Brady left and you gave Bill Belichick too much control, yeah, it kind of went a little downhill. He hired a defensive coordinator, else offensive coordinator, ruined a decent-looking rookie quarterback, like, really fucked things up. So on that guy, you needed a little bit of a cap on, right?
Yeah.
But, like, I go back to, fuck it, I'll go to Mike Tice. I don't think he was a bad coach. He was an above-average coach.
Yeah.
But as long as you gave him what he needed to play with, the team was going to be good.
Yeah.
When you asked him to go above and beyond for a team that wasn't that good, he couldn't do it.
No.
And that's how some guys are made.
You gave Triple H the best roster in the world. And by the way, no one is going to lie to me right now and tell me that when NXT was starting to boom, that wasn't the best roster
That was
on the
probably
fucking
like
planet.
That was one of the best, deepest. And by the way, even when it was mostly developmental talent, it was one of the most talented rosters you can tell.
Right. So
you were worried about the future because you were like, I don't know how this is going to look on main roster.
Right. But Jesse,
It looked pretty good.
but
and,
Jesse,
Yeah, it started half and half. Alexa Bliss shockingly looked great.
I don't know what that. If I ever get a chance to interview that woman, I will not only open by giving her the flowers that she deserves, which is being the best of the NXT women's class, because she deserves it. She got there first.
Between her and Bianca, I'm shocked it has worked so well.
But number two, I need to ask her, how did you overcome something that you were not supposed to do?
Right.
Now, back to this, Jesse. That's my thing to people. He didn't just stop being good at this. I've always said Axl Rose never stopped being a good singer. I mean, he's not what he used to be, but he's older. He smoked a bunch, whatever. But Jesse,
I think his throat and everything.
Right, yeah.
is
But anyway,
hurting, so.
but Jesse, Chinese Democracy sounded the way that it did. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't a GNR record because he was the sole guy in charge.
Right.
But he wasn't given Slash, Duff, Steven.
Right.
The rhythm guitarist.
I forget.
Name I always forget. Because he's actually been phenomenal since.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jesse, he didn't stop being a good singer. But clearly he wasn't capable of taking it all by himself. And yes, Buckethead was there. A lot of great musicians went through GNR through the years. But they're not Slash, Duff, Steven, and all those guys.
Right.
So, like, my whole thing is this, is just, Jesse, you can't blame Triple H, but you can blame Tony Khan because this is the part no one ever likes to talk about. From day one, he's bragged about it's all him. He's literally never, Jesse, even when no one asks the question, he finds a way to transition the answer into, I'm doing this, it's great, everything. Jesse, it's not even funny anymore because it's every fucking time he's at a microphone.
Like I've always said, the difference between Tony Khan and Triple H is while Triple H, and he will when we talk about TKO, get his blame, it's not all on him. In AEW, it is all on Tony Khan.
Well, that's the other thing, Jesse. Triple H deserves part of the blame pie, but Tony's the fucking chef.
Right. Well, Tony's the everything.
Yeah. He's the chef, the server, and the waiter.
He's the everything. It's fucking egregious. I appreciate Tony for trying to help this thing come true. The dream of 5 men, 2 who I don't care about, but the dream of 5 men to go against the grain and try to do something where, I think Cody's version was just a better version of WWE, clearly.
Yeah.
But to try to go against this grain of what Vince had made pro wrestling into on the mainstream, but still give you something.
Because remember, you always used to say, Cody went to the slums, went to the bingo halls, he went to the indies, and he realized what Vince was missing in the big show.
Right.
And he took all that and he made it into a vision, Jesse, that like you're pointing out, got perversed by ultimately the money mark.
Right.
Because at this point, yes, we're all marks because we love wrestling. That's just how this works. But for the love of God, like there's no other definition of money mark than this guy.
Right.
Because no one's ever been willing to put this kind of money on the line.
Right.
And the part that nobody wants to talk about is that when you invest, you're not the one running the business 90% of the time when you're an investor. You're just hoping to God that you put the right people in charge.
Let me kill the sickos really quick. So I've been seeing posts about how the E-Drones see a match like Kevin Knight and MJF, and they go, how could you have this kind of match and people care and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, first of all, the E-Drone thing is weird because that kind of WWE fan base is so minuscule that they almost feel like bots. Like they don't feel real.
There are not a lot of WWE fans who pretend to watch wrestling the way the sickos do.
So
most of WWE fans are casuals who just enjoy the show.
So let me help the sickos because I watch everything.
Yeah.
By the way, it's amazing. One of the reasons Triple H gets a hit is because I just saw Andrade finish his story in New Japan with a championship.
Yep.
And the guy feels like he probably should be a world champion right now. Like he's the best he's ever looked. How you straight up just I understand the shit he pulled, but how you guys don't sit down with him to get that figured out. And I would have still fucking suspended him for trying the shit he did.
Oh yeah.
But like,
and I think it's
like there is a grand plan for you here, brother.
Yeah, I think Andrade is more. They gotta put his head on straight, not be a dipshit.
Also, to be fair to Triple H, I've always said too, the WWE main event is very heavy, so like it's hard to break through that part of the card. But when I look into like that match in particular, Kevin Knight and MJF, I go, yeah, guys, phenomenal fucking match. I loved it.
I had 4 people send me highlights, and I was like, yeah, loved it. Unfortunately,
question, right, here we go. Question, where does Kevin Knight go from here? Clearly, this match, of course, was accosted MJF.
Am I wrong?
MJF lost this match, 1, because of his own hubris as a character, and 2, because of Darby Allin. Because what did I say before? This whole story is to just get the title back on him. Right. It's clearly. Right. So, okay, so why would anyone tune in week to week when they can already see where you're going? Unless I've always said, if they see where you're going, at least make it worthy.
Well, that was the thing, Jesse. You said on the show, I don't think Kevin Knight's winning, but if he does, there's going to be some shenanigans to it. And yes, that's not verbatim what you said, but you were alluding to it. But the fact of the matter is that, Jesse, everyone's like, well, it was a shocker that he won. I'm like, no, it wasn't. It was telegraphed the whole fucking show.
It was telegraphed the moment MJF showed up because it didn't make sense for MJF to show up. Why would he go for a lesser belt?
Well, not only that, but Jesse, okay, now you're bringing up something that will go into the wrestling analogs and histories that no one reads but us. Here's the deal. Guys, yes, certain main eventers, Seth Rollins is a prime example.
Sure.
Sometimes they can come back down to the upper mid-card and they can wrestle for the Intercontinental title because a billionaire, for some odd reason, sends a giant home for 6 months.
And we have now learned Brock Lesnar told him, I'm going to work. I'm willing to work a part-time schedule, but I'm also willing to show up for the promos and the angles. So when Vince would send him home
because Brock Lesnar didn't want to wrestle every night, but if you asked him to stand there while Paul talked for 15 minutes, Brock wasn't going to care. He was getting paid for it.
He had to sell for a guy he might beat at a pay-per-view. He was willing to do it.
Right.
So
unfortunately, Brock gets a lot more flowers leaving when he told everybody, "Yeah, I wanted to do better by the fans."
That was Vince's fucking idea to be like, "Nah, just go home, pal. It'll make you feel bigger every time we bring you back."
So now back to my point. No, sometimes you get that. Those are anomalies. They're not real. But guys, sometimes a wrestler can be a main event star and come back down to the mid card and help it.
Right.
MJF is not that guy.
Becky Lynch also is one of those two.
Exactly. But Jesse, I would argue right now, Kenny.
Well,
because
now especially since seemingly AJ is like semi-retired again.
Yeah, it's weird. But again, Jesse.
Fine, but
again, Jesse.
Part-time schedule.
But again, Jesse.
The way she said goodbye is she's leaving for a while.
But Jesse, we did report at the time, to be fair to her, that she didn't sign a full-time deal.
She didn't actually sign a long-term
But
deal either.
anyway, Jesse, no. But here's my point. MJF, Kenny on a different level because he's on the retirement angle. But MJF is not someone you need to go be getting wins for fucking guys who are not on his level right now.
There's a certain way. If you're going to have an MJF put over Kevin Knight, is you want him to put him over to be one of the next main eventers that you're going to see
Instead, Kevin Knight kept the TNT title, and he's just going to keep... I swear, Tony Khan just won't admit that that the TNT title, he's modeled it after the USA Championship in the sense of he just wants it to be defended every fucking week, blah, 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 with nothing going on. Even though, Jesse tried to tell you, Carmelo was actually building a story through those open challenges.
Yes, he was.
Kevin
Which
Knight,
he did.
He's an 8 last week. This week, he's going to be a 4.
Am
I wrong?
Well, no, I'm just saying, though. No, you're right. It's just, but this goes to the issues and why, listen, if he's not going to be able to keep the company, I would like someone else to buy it. Because at least, and maybe in this case, unlike TKO, at least, like, if someone buys it, because the talent there is incredible.
Oh, I tell people
that is the one thing I can give him. The talent that has been amassed between AEW and Ring of Honor is incredible.
Jesse,
but it's just utilized piss poorly.
Jesse, I can't even remember the last time a sports team put together this level of talent.
The Eagles.
And it's just pissed it away.
What was that? 2015 the Philadelphia Eagles, the whole dream team.
Yeah.
Your Vikings in 2000 and what was the year Gary missed the kick?
That was 98.
Okay, yeah, 98.
Yeah.
I do not want to talk about
that. But it goes to show, like, when all this talent is amassed, and you should be winning championships, and instead you can't get out the first round of the playoffs. That's AEW.
Yeah,
like it's when it's the management is that bad, which it has been. This is what you get.
And by the way, Jesse,
for the sicko's sake, I actually hope for you guys, and for us as wrestling fans, he's like, because I thank you for getting us into this ballpark.
Yeah.
But can you sell it to someone who can use it?
Now, Jesse, one more time for the fans at home. Who is the management team you're talking about in AEW? Oh, wait, you're talking about one person.
Yeah, it's just Tony Khan.
Yeah.
Well, by proxy of his father. But it's just Tony Khan. So it's, like I tell people.
You can't tell me Shad doesn't go to parties without Tony and get asked about this fucking thing.
I've never hated, I've never wanted AEW to die, even if I don't like how they do, like how he terribly tells stories, because it's just so reminiscent of Vince McMahon. And then in
the 20-teens,
right? Well, in the late 2000s through the 20s, it's the same kind of shit.
Yeah.
Except maybe the wrestling wasn't always as great, but it's still the same terrible storytelling and booking.
The WWE main event scene was almost, or actually the whole WWE roster was arguably
the main event scene in the 20-teens was a fucking joke.
And Jesse, it's funny, but people look back on it and they're like, oh, it dominated this, it dominated that, blah blah blah. It was too much, too long, blah. The Bloodline arguably saved everyone because Vince stopped paying attention so much and he focused on the Bloodline so much.
Well, he was the overseer at the time, but
remember, Roman had the cachet to say yes and no.
Right.
But what I'm saying is Jesse, the mid card was left alone a little bit, and Vince left it to everybody else.
And so it got to flourish a little bit.
Yeah,
because
everybody left. Jesse, remember the Intercontinental Championship and the United States Championship were never in the Bloodline.
Right.
Even though Solo was right there.
Right.
So those titles were given an opportunity to flourish while Roman was holding holding the belts.
Right.
And everyone's like, well, the bloodline dominated. It might have helped.
He didn't care about the tag division to begin with, so.
Yeah.
The bloodline that was the dominating storyline of that time.
I understand, but what I'm saying is it may have
it.
helped overall because
Oh, yeah.
then Vince wasn't paying. Because the problem that people don't get, and it's been well documented, when Vince didn't have the bloodline, Jesse, he was under every story like it was a fucking ham sandwich and he was a starving orphan. He would sit there and he would go over it in detail. You can't tell me the whole roster wasn't rolling their eyes being like, damn.
They had to do, like, the saying used to go, like, to get to some good shit, you're going to have to do some dog shit.
And also, by the way, a little heat for Triple H that Jesse, again, we'll get into later. Guys, I don't really think it's funny for you to start posting AI jokes when that was reported 3 months ago. You're just late to the party.
True, I did not like seeing that shit on NXT though. I did not. I was just like, wait, that was lazy. That's ugly. Don't do that. Like, don't do that. We're gonna get into TKO.
That was kind of
all I'm saying is this though.
The bad part of the show.
I don't
compared to
agree
the
with
rest of
it.
the show.
I don't agree with using the AI. But remember, what bothers me even more is when wrestling fans are like, I get to do on this. Yeah, it happened 90 days ago. 3 months ago they reported it.
You know, can we get into TKO?
Sure.
Can we? Leroy, you have kids.
Oh yeah.
You know, heaven forbid, you know, or not heaven forbid, but having grace us at some point, we start, you know, really, really making some real money where you can do some stuff for them. Maybe I even hire on your son, stuff like that. I'm not gonna lie. Well, let me finish. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You are our agents.
I'm not gonna lie to you, buddy.
You just got to give him PlayStation cards. He's good.
What I cannot fucking imagine in my life, if I hire on your son, and he shows that he can be a great part of our creative team, is am I going to, especially since he's younger, am I going to interfere with his thoughts if it's making me money? I'm also not going to tell him, hey, we should chase certain trends that clearly don't fucking work. I'm not going to do that to him. You know, heaven fucking forbid he goes, guys, we probably shouldn't have different celebrities on that really don't know anything about pro wrestling. It's not really helping your podcast. All right, I hear you, son. We won't do that. You want to know why I'll do that?
Because you're making money?
Because it worked when he's saying something to me. It's making me money. It's not hurting. So why, as a company, you get a company that was already making a shit ton of money because its previous guy was fucking gone. And really, the children, well, one of the children, who I had always promised he would give the company to.
And never did.
And never fucking did. Made them go to school for it, all this kind of shit. Right? One of them finally gets a hold of it.
It's really funny. He took what his father forced him to do, and he didn't give his kids the same option.
Correct.
It's really fucking funny.
He's a big piece of shit.
Because by the way, folks, Stephanie McMahon, even if we account for inflation, Vince paid $1 million. Now, he's going to charge Stephanie $1 billion. She had that.
She had that money.
She had that fucking money.
She could have bought his
folks.
shares if he wanted to.
She could have sold them shares off, waited 60 days, and said, Daddy, here's a check.
Right.
But is it good or bad
What do you mean?
that Vince didn't make his kids do the same thing?
It's bad because look at what's happened.
I'm about to say it's fucking horrible.
It's bad because look at what's happened.
I understand that, but if that wouldn't have happened, if
Okay, hold on. No. You're asking a question that is getting really odd and contrarian for no reason, and here's why I say it to you. I'm not even trying to be insulting. I'm saying to you, much like we just talked about Triple H's booking not being shit because we saw it. We already saw Stephanie was doing a great job.
She was doing an excellent job.
So that's the part. No. Again, I like that you brought it up, but like, it bothers me because the obvious answer is yes, it was a bad idea that he didn't do it because unlike him, when he bought it from his dad, she had already shown she could run this bitch.
Yeah.
So whilst your question kind of makes sense, it also doesn't in the sense of we already had the proof that Stephanie McMahon was running WWE like a well-oiled fucking machine.
And now I'm starting to realize more than anything, after constantly hearing his fucking comments,
Ugh.
Nick Khan was better off underneath
Yep.
working for Stephanie.
But did Vince McMahon think throughout his years what his father did to him is something that he didn't want to do to his own kids?
Well,
Who gives a shit?
the problem is, though, if he was a good dad, you would have just kept your fucking word.
Well, yeah.
Now, I understand telling Shane, like, stop being involved in the wrestling part of it.
Right, yeah.
Like, stop. DX
Yeah.
is here. They're going to do that.
Yeah.
But you can do some of the other stuff helping your sister. You figure out where you fit in, which, by the way, he's a decent businessman, so he would have fit in well somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest, in hindsight, TKO was the best of two different deals because the other one was
It's the Saudis.
probably the Saudis, and as we were learning with Live Golf, that probably wasn't.
But okay.
No, that wasn't a good idea at all.
But okay. Well, okay. First of all, I'm sorry. If you now, whilst again, we announced at the beginning, I said this is good because the PGA have been screwing over the golfers for years. I was happy for them, but Jesse, you can't sustain a business where the model was in the PGA. Well, you get paid a lot when you win, so you have to try. Whereas in Live Golf, they were literally getting paid $200 million to go play golf. So that's how you knew that was going to fail at some point.
Well, the problem was the whole model of that, though.
Yeah.
Like, I understand trying to take care of the athletes, but the whole model of that was never sustainable, because the whole model of that was the athletes alone should be able to help make us billions and billions.
Right,
more.
exactly. But
that's just not sustainable.
But let's also remind our fans, TKO was also in real life in the back rooms. It was the only option.
Endeavor was,
No one else ever had a shot.
which is a
bidding-
shame.
True.
The bidding process was Vince McMahon
It was
making it look
rigged.
legal.
It was rigged.
Yeah.
Because if it was a real bidding war, then absolutely Disney had a fucking shot.
And Disney wanted it.
Disney wanted, because apparently Disney's whole plan was, we're going to put Raw and SmackDown on all of our networks. So I'm guessing SmackDown would have ended up on ABC or something.
Yeah.
Because they want more sports.
They probably would have put it on NBC because in the off seasons when there weren't major sporting events.
Universal owns NBC.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's they probably would have put it on ABC. Raw probably would have been on ESPN, which then they probably would have actually lost out on their deal for Monday Night Football, by the way, if they did that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like,
Oh, yeah. That'd have been crazy.
at least I know for sure when it comes to Disney,
Well, they can't lose out on the deal for Monday Night Football because ESPN is Monday Night Football.
for now,
Yeah.
as long as they continue to win those bidding wars for now. And it's not hard to win those bidding wars when you have nothing else going on Monday.
Exactly.
But I always told people, I'm like, Disney owning it actually would have not been the worst thing, because Disney does not stifle their creatives.
Jesse, when Pixar was in their bag and they were pumping out hit after hit after hit, all the fucking dudes in the boardroom knew was that this little thing over there called Pixar was making us a lot of money.
Right. So now, I know some people will be like, well, Jesse, they just fired like all these like visual artists, and Evangeline Lilly talked about it. That sucks.
Yeah.
Wish that didn't happen.
Yep.
But in just like with pro wrestling, we all have our feelings about when people get fired. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm almost certain, because Disney does this every year, at least 45 to 50% of them will have their jobs back in the next 4 months. Mm-hmm. It's a weird thing in the industry.
Well, but remember, Jesse, there's always this thing called the annual firing. You cook the books, the SEC comes in, they're like, everything's
it's not
fine,
even really the
and then
annual,
you hire them back.
It's not really the annual firing thing. It's just, our budget looks like this, so we had the coal people. Those people you're still technically paying on a 25 to 40% basis anyway.
Yeah.
So guess what? Most of them you end up bringing back any fucking way. Now, they end up making less money.
Yeah.
And so when they're up for more money, sometimes you don't hire them back.
Right.
But, like,
At least they're employed.
It's a dirty business in that way, but it is what it is.
Hey, I've said it for years. If you want to be the guy, whether it's in baseball, entertainment, wrestling, whatever, if you want to be the guy who hires people and you're the good boss, go do it. Find a way to do it.
Even a good boss has to let people go, though.
Yeah.
Here's a fun question.
Yeah.
If AEW, they still have 2027, they don't get picked for 2028, they go to YouTube.
No. Hold on. Before you finish, you got to remember what he said and what was being reported. They have 8 months to find a place to go. They don't have 2027. By the end of this year, they need to find a place to go.
Well, it's 12 to 16 months, but
Okay.
yeah, he basically has 10 months to figure it out.
But if he doesn't get it figured out, he sells to somebody else.
Because they already had to deal with Bleacher Report for the pay-per-views. He's not worried about that.
Right, yeah.
But here's the fun part is, if somebody else buys AEW and all their
Who
shit,
the fuck is still paying for those, by the way?
are they... I don't know.
According to Dave, a different person every time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You
If
ask Dave
somebody-
Meltzer's everybody in Azkaban who's never even heard of the fucking company before. Sorry, go ahead, buddy.
If somebody buys AEW and ROH, are you going to keep both of them running? You think...
Okay, hold on. Pause.
That's a good question.
Pause. I finally get to say this because I've said it many times on the show, but I had a bunch of people this week try to tell me about Athena's fucking bullshit title run. So let me fucking get on this.
Somebody...
Kill it! Fucking kill it! No. Shut up! It needs to die. ROH is a fucking piece of shit compared to what it used to be. It needs to go away. And I know plenty of old school ROH fans who are done with this. They want it to die. Forget it. They'd rather see it dead than see it in the hands of anybody else.
Okay. And I think literally
I'll let him finish.
literally right now, the way it is, how many people watch ROH?
Me and 20 others.
As
Me
much,
and 20 other people?
as much as people watch Collision on Saturday with Jesse.
Well, I don't even watch it as much as the other people
the
do.
12
but,
other people with Jesse that watch Collision on Saturday.
Well, I watch it on Sunday morning, but yeah.
Okay, but...
HBO Max deal is great for me.
No, really right. You always get this wrong every show. Let me repeat this one more
Okay,
time.
I'm sorry.
12 total people watched Collision. Not all at the same time.
Okay, yeah, I know.
7 of them watched on Saturday, and then 5 people, including Jesse, watched on Sunday morning.
Okay, yeah. But
So
probably true.
so please
But if-
don't give Tony credit that 12 people tuned into the live Collision.
okay, 12 people watch it between Saturday and Sunday.
Maybe, but yes.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more. But yeah, if ROH is not producing any numbers whatsoever, which it seems like nothing
not, but go
because
on.
I don't hear shit about it. So anybody that is going to invest and buy them, why are they going to keep it running?
I get to piss you off. Congratulations to Athena, who now has a longer reign than Bruno Sammartino.
Okay, let me interject myself.
Can I tell you a statement about that?
Please do.
Who the fuck cares?
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, so let me interject myself.
Pass me a donut.
Here. Sure. Let me
Just throw it at him.
let me interject myself.
These nondescript donuts.
Let me interject myself really quick
They're a nice surely glazed donut.
because I don't care about people being.
I
mad
made
at
them
me.
at home.
I really don't care when people are mad at me.
Really?
I know I really don't.
I've never learned that about you.
I would actually keep Ring of Honor.
Oh, you think so?
If I was a billionaire investor who bought AEW. Now here's the thing, though.
Well, there's still legacy in the name.
Well, besides that, if NXT can have survived this long, there is life for Ring of Honor.
Oh yeah.
But that's how I would treat it. I would treat Ring of Honor deals and contracts like you would treat NXT. That's my big developmental right there. Also, I would get it on free TV. I don't give a fuck what station to start, but I would get it on there.
Because, by the way, folks, in real sports, if you're a first overall pick, you're expecting to make a decent amount of money on your developmental deal. If you're an undrafted free agent, you take whatever the fuck they give you, and you say thank you.
Now, here's the thing. Now, people will be like, well, why would you do this part? And I'll explain in a minute. I would put it on a Tuesday night. Now, why would you put it head-to-head with NXT? Not because I want to hurt the NXT talent, but because I want everyone who loves pro wrestling to watch all the potential bigger stars they might see on both channels.
But see, Jesse, you're also suggesting a world where the new investors at least entertain the idea of working with the WWE to raise all boats.
Here's the thing. I don't even need to really work with WWE per se. It's just, it would almost be an unspoken thing between me and the guys in DX, right?
Yeah.
Listen, they're not doing that to try to destroy us.
Yeah.
We get why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Let's have fun with the competition of it, right?
Okay. Can I read this?
Hold on. Also,
Are you going to take us back 4 segments?
well, hold on.
No, I'm still talking
Give
about
me
our
a second.
way.
Just give me a second. I'm almost done.
I'll do that later.
Dynamite. Got to get it off of TBS though.
Yeah.
I gotta find a way. Dynamite has to find a way. I have to find a way to get it on. I don't know. You see about it on NBC. You see about ABC. Somebody.
Yeah.
I take a lesser deal to start because Tony has fucking blew his wad.
Yep.
But on Wednesday night was never the issue. It was the booking.
Jesse.
And then Collision would go to YouTube. Why would I do Collision on YouTube? One, it's a tape show.
Yep.
2, I actually don't have to put too many commercials on with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then 3,
More than 12 people watch.
now, well, right. And so now when I tell people, hey, watch this on YouTube, when they come back on Wednesdays,
Yeah.
they're going to know what the fuck is going on.
You know, Jesse, whilst I will not ever pretend that Sid the Kid wasn't an incredibly productive talent in the history of the NHL, top 5 all time, it's not even a question. But if people were actually ever paying attention to the contracts of NHL players, Sid has made the same amount of money every year of his life since he's been signing big deals with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and it's not a lot. Sid has not been paid a lot of money the majority of his career. I think he's been a $7.7 million guy every year since he's been a big guy. So, Jesse, that's a lesson to be made to a lot of people. You're right. Take a lesser deal. What if AEW was outperforming their deal as opposed to underperforming their deal? And that's kind of the idea, is that, Jesse, regardless of what the fans and the sickos want to believe, they have no negotiating
that's the thing.
leverage.
They have no leverage.
But if you were doing
Nope.
700,000 viewers a week, but you were only making $500,000 from the TV networks, you've got a little bit of leverage to get a raise. So like you said, what if they took a lesser deal, outperformed it, and now all of a sudden you tell them, look, there's no more pizza cutter spots, there's no more of that bullshit, there's no more of the fucking bleaching chlorine down a guy's throat. We'll get to John. We have to get to John Moxley at some point in this show because despite the fact I'm wearing this, God, has he gotten bad the last few weeks. But anyway, no. You're right. They would take a hit, but the problem that we continue to gloss over, and you're not glossing over it on purpose. You're glossing over it because unfortunately we have to get to all the points. This guy has been trying to explain to us for 7 years how they've grown, how they've evolved, and how much better they've gotten when there isn't a single metric that isn't, I'm a wrestling fan and I love the talent and look at the growth in this one person. There's no other metric that you can measure that proves that Tony's right.
Here's the thing. I've never glossed over it because we've talked about how every time he does a thing and they don't call him out on it, it's just bullshit.
Dude. Okay, if there is one thing that I would put real money down on, is I would go to every person that is ever put in that press conference.
Also, that's the other thing. If I'm a part of the group that owns them, right, we're not doing press conferences.
Oh, fuck that. No.
No, you don't need to.
No. Bad idea. But anyway, no. One thing I will put real money on is all the reporters that are let in that room. Don't tell me you ain't getting paid to ask a soft question. Because let me be very clear. If you value any of yourselves as journalists, any of you. Now, Chris Van Vliet gets a pass because he always asks things in a very conversational, nice way. That's just Chris.
Right.
So Chris has proof. The rest of you, you've all been fucking shitting on WWE for years. You've all asked them questions and been like, well, I didn't get a response. So you were able to, trade on that.
Right.
So don't give me this bullshit that all of a sudden you're in the room with this guy and you know the numbers, you know the metrics, you know the fucking show, you know wrestling because you've covered it for almost 20 years apiece, and not one of you looks him in the eye and goes, Tony, what the hell?
Dude, it's not all great. You can't say it's great. It's not all great.
1.4 million. I repeat that number over and over again because that is what the very first episode of Dynamite did in 2019. Fast forward, 2022 was the last time they hit 1 million. Was that Kenny versus El Hijo del Vikingo?
I believe so.
Yeah.
So, okay, so there's that. And now here we are 7 years later of a project that Jesse said, all right, 2 years you get a pass. Your fans are bragging that you're doing half?
No. We don't gloss over that. It's trash. It's just like I said, when Seth Rollins was like, well, if you're not a fan of what we do, then why are you even here? And then he blocked me on Twitter for a while because I said, Seth, you just got here 7 years ago. This company used to do 10 million viewers on Raw. We are down to 2.3.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck how hard you are working. And as great as you are, it is not working. His booking is not working. No one wants to watch this shit. People are embarrassed to say they're a fan.
Which,
now.
by the way, now that you've mentioned that, I want to go to the people on.
I think he has unblocked me because I think I do see him on Twitter.
Sweet. But no. Now we got.
So I was right, nigga. That's why.
Now we go to the people who I commented who are now posting a bunch of laugh emojis on TikTok. Okay, so there's a video out there on TikTok of which is set to Creed's My Sacrifice, and it's like, we remember these days, and it's the Attitude Era. And I'm like, you got the same 7 guys in every single video. Oh God, there's a random Dudley Boy thing in there.
Like,
and I'm like, guys, can we admit that the rest of the card outside of the main event, Jesse, I'm going to say this to you because I'd like your response to the gentleman that said this to me. Because my response was, guys, outside of the main event, it was mid at best. And this guy goes, hey man, hold on, you had to be there. And I'm like, motherfucker, what?
it's just.
I
like
had to be there.
It's like the people trying to rewrite history of things were so much better under Vince, and I'm like, nigga, y'all didn't even watch.
You know what I would have said to him? Only one comment. Chop it up into pee-pee. That's it.
I don't.
The funny part about it is there's actually worse than even that.
I know, but that was pretty bad.
It's so weird that Daniel Bryan's character, once said the fans are fickle, and now I look at the man himself, and I'm like, boy, don't look in the mirror. But at the time, I'm like, how do I boo a heel who's actually right? Like, what are you the Attitude Era, as short as it was, and it was short.
Yeah. Remember, Stone Cold was at the top for 3 years?
Maybe less than that.
Around 3 years.
Because he quit for a year, too.
Yeah.
Quit for a year and a half. It was at least 8 guys. The mid-card scene was kind of a joke until 2002. And then,
and by the way, folks, quick question. Can anyone, besides the people in this room who are nerds, can anyone tell me what the hell was going on in the WWE Tag Division before the TLC match at WrestleMania?
Are you ready for this?
Not
so
much.
I know you can.
we had Asians living stereotypes.
Yeah.
We had black people being pimps and living stereotypes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We literally had, it should have been thought of as revolutionary, but the female group who owned a male sex slave was called PMS.
Yeah.
We had bra and panties matches.
We did.
We
had Leroy trying to sell us that was a match.
We had mud matches for women.
It was stated that it was.
Yeah.
I've
never heard Jesse laugh so hard.
We learned what nipple placelets were because they would strip the women down to their skivvies and their tits.
Well, Stephanie
beaver
did do
cleavage.
There was an incest fucking angle beaver cleavage or whatever the fuck.
It only lasted one. It was
One too many.
Yes, it was.
No. Oh, it goes on. Before we had Patrick Burchill as a pirate, we had 3 different pirates.
Yeah, we had pirates.
Okay? We forget the Undertaker and Kane.
Paul Burchill, by the way.
Forget the Undertaker and Kane. Let's. Do you remember Midian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that good?
That was a fucking thing for 4 years.
It was a good idea, but it was not.
I got another one for you.
Good.
He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke. You remember what tag team wrestler that was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Disgusting.
So once again,
Terrible stuff,
man. Just because the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian had a monumental moment doesn't mean the Attitude Era tag team division was on fire.
Mm-hmm. Really, when I think about 90s wrestling nowadays, I'm just like, wow, most of this shit was terrible.
Yeah. But Jesse, remember, I say it all the time. When you are looking back and you set Creed to things, because Creed, by the way, is quite the emotional ride.
You set Creed to it. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
See,
My sacrifice is still a hell of a tune. But anyway,
I was saying about
Jesse, every time someone sets up an Attitude Era video and puts music to it, I'm like, you're all showing the same 9 clips.
It's funny because like wrestling is technically in a better place. There's so much more you can watch, including the indie companies.
I don't want to know what Vince would have done with the storyline of Becky getting pregnant with Asuka. Oh my God, what Vince would have come up with if the Women's Revolution had never happened.
Oh yeah,
We're not even gonna go there.
But to counteract Jesse's thought of keeping ROH, I looked
once again 4 segments back. I
was waiting to get my moment, but you guys kept going.
Go ahead.
It's just a joke in the show. Go ahead.
All right, what it is said. The first thing when I looked it up, I was wondering if ROH makes money.
Yeah.
Ring of Honor generates revenue, but is unlikely to be profitable. Operates primarily as a streaming focus entry under AEW. They may have between. It's funny when this is between 5,000 and 20,000 subscribers. So they might have 5,000 subscribers in a year that makes them like $1.5 million a year
At like $10.
Yeah.
The talent alone are getting paid more than 1.5 million.
I know, it's like profitability to keep it running as a businessman.
I don't know.
I wouldn't keep it going.
But anyway,
because it would lose me money.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. Do I think there's still a legacy in the name? Yes, but I would at least book it better. I would at least go find out if Delirious still wants to go try to book it. I would call Delirious and I would say, come back. I'll pay you more than you were making the last time. Call a Jim Cornette. You don't even have to hire him, but like pay him for his time for a couple hours to explain what the point of what he was trying to do was. It's not that hard.
And put him on YouTube to start out.
Exactly. But the point is that the one thing that can't go to YouTube, that is in danger of having it the only opportunity be YouTube, is Dynamite.
Yeah.
You can't put Dynamite on YouTube because Dynamite has already been on TNT. It's already been on TBS. And unfortunately, what future investors will say is, well, according to the history in front of us, this has only done worse. Sorry, folks, it's very windy, and our shutters, we didn't tape them down, but it's very windy, but it's also very hot in this room. So anyway.
Well, it's not too hot, but...
Well, yeah.
I don't know if we can move those over to be better. I don't know.
Maybe we could.
Yeah, it's all right.
But anyway, no.
I don't hear that much.
But anyway, the point that we're trying to get across is TKO is not without blame because, again, when you bake, like I can't help but just continue and continue and continue to say to people, they made $1 billion. Don't say it. We don't have the rights to it. They made $1 billion. Don't do it. They made $1 billion in a week.
Mm-hmm.
And someone who owned it actually sat down at a desk and said, well, that's not good enough. We need to now turn it into what the UFC has become. For the life of me, I've talked to talent we know.
Who's worse, Endeavor or the Pole Lads? No.
The Pole Lads, because 35 years.
Yeah.
35 years.
It's Endeavor. Really quick, I'll explain why. Because, yes, it has been 35 years. But in those 35 years, and I'm 37, you have been to one World Series.
No, we haven't. 35 years since 91.
Series, right?
Okay, stop. Okay. You're not helping. Shut up. No. We have one.
One of those World Series was in the 90s, correct? You didn't win it, but you were there.
I'm saying
87 to 91.
I said
Leroy,
in the 90s,
stop.
Though.
91.
Leroy, stop. Leroy, you're not helping.
I didn't win it, though, did I?
Yeah.
In 91. Leroy, you're not helping.
Oh.
Leroy, you're not helping. Shut up. Jesse, we haven't been to a World Series in 35 years. That is what I am saying. The fact of the matter is also this. We haven't even been to an ALCS in 35 years. The Vikings have at least made it to an NFC Championship game. Leroy, he wasn't asking how many World Series we have. He was asking, have you made a World Series in the last 35 years? Which you know is untrue. So stop trying to help by making the poll ads seem good.
In 91, they did.
We don't count 91.
But they have not made it back to a second round.
We don't count 91 because I said in 35 years.
So if you're saying in 35 years,
yes.
Right? And like I said, I'm 37.
Yeah.
So
in my lifetime, starting in 1992.
So they won 2 years before I was born, and then they won in 91.
In my lifetime, I've seen a couple.
Okay.
Yeah. A couple thousand, but more than just the Twins. You've seen all the sports. You saw Highlight become a sport.
I'm not going to lie. You want to know
I
why?
remember the Cubs in their glory years.
You want to know why I still believe Endeavor is worse, even with that futility, right?
Yeah.
At least you guys have had playoff teams.
That's fair.
At least the worst of it has only really happened in the last 4 years.
Yeah, that's
the worst
fair.
Of Endeavor.
And also, to be fair, while the poll ads have money laundered a lot of their poor investments into the Twins, go look that up. It's actually pretty obvious. Jesse, I will give you this. They didn't make $1 billion and then say that's not good enough.
Because before WWE, and this is why I said, you know what, to UFC fans who have been trying to warn us about Endeavor for years, I apologize.
Yeah.
They acquired UFC at its peak.
Yep.
Making billions of dollars at events. Doing really great stuff. I mean, to give that piece of shit his credit.
Yeah.
Dana had them at the top of their game. Since then, and that's about 10 years ago, since then, they can't sell out anything.
Nope.
They only usually get celebrities to go, but it really makes them no money.
No.
And now it's such a joke when it comes to fighters' pay that fighters go to companies you've never heard of to go get paid. Some of them are now working with Netflix's owned company to go fight. Yeah. To get paid.
Here's the thing.
This company is a fucking joke.
Here's the thing.
These two dudes, here's the thing I think what they're learning, right?
Yeah.
And they're learning the hard way, which is nice.
Yeah.
Is that unlike UFC fans who are like, well, fuck it. If I just can't go, I can't go.
Yeah.
Wrestling fans will fucking fight you. And I think what they didn't realize is that Vince's bullshit, while it hadn't paid off, it was because his own wrestling fans have been fighting him for like 15 fucking years now.
And Jesse, the problem is that Ari's the main problem because he won't just tell people like Nick Khan and Mark Shapiro to step away. And number two, Mark Shapiro, I don't know how anyone wants to work with this guy because how many dumb things can you say in a 2-year period, pretend to walk them back, and then keep speaking?
And I can't believe I'm saying this because for that year, I was just like, man, Nick Khan and Stephanie are doing a great job. Nick Khan should have always just been working under Stephanie.
Well, I've learned that I think Nick Khan has really just proven he's the agent. He just works for whoever's above him.
As let's use the NFL term. If he's a capologist, he's great.
Yeah.
Because even with him, he told Triple H about, well, we should resign these guys, but let's make deals that favor them and us.
Yeah.
That make it easier, right?
Because by the way, you can't tell me that before we get into the actual story, you can't tell me that New Day in merch alone wasn't making more than what their deals were worth.
I understand that the Wyatts hadn't been in the top 10 in merch sales in about 2 months.
Yeah.
But also, and by the way, it came out that somebody said this, and then Rob Fee actually said it, and they're not firing Rob Fee anytime soon. Hey, how can they sell merch if you don't fucking use them? We debuted them, and for 5 months, we could not stop selling Wyatt stuff. How can you go from that to not using them and go, we're overpaying them?
Jesse, there was a guy.
And we'll get to the big one that was just reported over the weekend here soon.
Yeah, Jesse, there was a guy who was a huge, huge, huge superstar coming out of college. Not going to give a name because technically it's a bunch of different guys, but okay, we'll talk about this. Jesse, I think a lot of people who weren't alive to watch that college season because people ask all the time to me, wait, how did Greg Oden go above other guys in that draft? And I'm like, oh, if you watched him in college, it wasn't hard to see why.
Correct.
But unfortunately, Jesse, he went away. He went away forever. And the jerseys stopped selling because he just wasn't there. And the fans didn't care anymore because, unfortunately, Jesse, okay, he's out 1 year, whatever. He's out 2 years. He's still under a deal. But by the time he got to health, he had been gone so long, we knew the bench players more than we knew you, brah.
Right.
So, like, unfortunately, Greg Oden is the guy that, hey, man, we thought that Joel Embiid was just going to become Greg Oden again. Luckily, he did get some healthy years in there. He was able to get an MVP. He was able to go win a gold medal, all those kinds of things. But, like, unfortunately, it's like if you're a Zion Williamson, Jesse, you can only get excited about a guy for so long, but he's just not there.
Right.
He's just not playing.
Right.
You know, it's like I tell people that apparently with Zion Williamson, the best place for him is Los Angeles, and people go, oh, so we can go help the Lakers? I'm like, no, because the food over there isn't a fucking in Fatty's paradise.
Right.
Because his problem is literally food.
Yeah.
But, Jesse, you can't expect the fans, who, yes, are ultimately the revenue-generating source, which some people are going to find weird that I said that because because everyone's like, how do you think celebrities get famous? I'm like, you still don't get their free time. Shut the fuck up. Stop being weird. But no, at some point, the fans who are ultimately the ones who spend the money, they're just going to stop caring. And, Jesse, to your point, whilst you enjoyed all the teasers, all the social media, all the little videos and vignettes.
Right.
Jesse, at some point you got to get in the ring. It's still wrestling.
Right.
And that's why everyone is wondering, but they don't need to worry because Paige even said on Stephanie's podcast, What's Your Story? Hey, man, you give him 15 minutes. Danhausen can work. He can wrestle. And that's why I don't think Danhausen can be overused because Danhausen has not shown you what you ultimately need to see,
right?
Which is, okay, now you're entertained. Everyone's entertained. Danhausen's fun, but now he's got to wrestle. The guy can work.
Right.
And that's why when he finally gets to a consistent basis of working, although to be fair, the guy has actually added so many layers to the Danhausen character since he's been there, he could do this another 18 months and he'd probably still be there. The fucking shit with Nick Aldis, the most gold I've seen him do because it was so
By the way,
unexpected.
Bitch, eat before we eat it.
What?
Eat before we eat it.
Eat the pizza before we eat it.
Oh. Go ahead.
All right.
Okay, all right, we got it. But anyway, no, that's the thing.
I get food at home.
The shit with Nick Aldis was amazing because it was like,
You also have children.
yeah.
I get a porchetta roast at home and it was really good.
The shit with Nick Aldis was great because he literally was like, "Oh, you were expecting me to disappear?" and I'm like, he gets it.
Yeah.
He understands it.
Yeah.
He's been doing this. But anyway, no, Danhausen is going to eventually show you in ring he can wrestle.
Well, here's a question.
Hold on. But the problem with the Wyatts was, like Jesse said, humongous debut. With that kind of debut, why weren't they just breaking up every Raw match for like 2 weeks?
Listen, the first feud was not the problem. The first feud was good. You got a new faction out of it. I had no problem with that.
Yeah.
The real issue was after that first feud.
Yeah.
So then there was this break because 2 of the members got hurt.
Yeah. Which, by the way, could you answer me this? That never made any sense to me why they were off television because, A, there were 5 of them.
Right.
And, B, Taylor has proven with beyond a shadow of a doubt.
You could have just let him cut promos
That's
while he was hurt.
He shot Jesse.
It was funny to hear so many old school wrestlers after they got released go, I don't understand, especially Kevin Nash went, yeah, he's like, that one I told Paul, why didn't you just have that guy go cut promo? Like, that's how Bray got himself over.
Not
Go
only that,
cut
but
promos.
Jesse, you said it yourself. These are your words, whether they were on this mic or not. You said it. He could have fucking cut a promo, and you could have told us this was a lost tale of Bray Wyatt. We would have believed you.
Yeah.
He sounded more like Bray than Bray.
Yeah, he sounded great. And it's just like, well, if you're not going to use them, then how are they going to get over? By the way, I found that interesting that Rob Fee put that out in the public because I'm like, you're not going to fire Rob Fee. So
I'm not surprised. Rob was always a proponent.
Let's talk about
The fact that TKO apparently doesn't like spooky characters.
So apparently the rumor is, even if TKO was around when the Undertaker was around, maybe they would have fired Mark Calloway. I will give Vince this. He would have never let that happen. That was his guy.
If there was anyone he was going to fight for in this
Mark Calloway.
To this day, I always say I think Vince loved Mark Calloway more than he loved his own kids.
Probably. Probably.
But I do have a question you can mull over. You don't have to answer now.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Answer
yeah.
by the end of the show.
Okay.
Who is Danhausen going to get to tag with him? That's
And-
a great question. We don't have to answer that right now. Just let it sit.
And now, thank you to Leroy. We're going to be going into our friends over at Better Helphausen. I still love that there are people that are always like, "Hey, am I doing this right? How do I do it?" It's not that difficult to do the whole housing thing.
You just housing to the end or something.
Yeah, but it doesn't always work. And even Danhausen has confirmed it doesn't always work. But it's also not that difficult to get it to understand.
And hey, I want to mention
Get your
too,
breakfast housing with your bacon housing and your syrup housing.
and I want to mention too with our.
Look, just because the world loves breakfast doesn't mean you can use that as an example for everything you want.
I would like
With
to
your
mention.
chocolate milk housing.
I'd like to mention. Thank you. With our lovely sponsor, BetterHelp. It is Mental Health Awareness Month of
Yes.
May. So please use our sponsor that we had the commercial. It'd be great.
Yes. Anyway, but no, Jesse, that's the thing is I will now just get right into it. I stand with the New Day because here's the problem that I had. Restructuring has gotten a weird rap over the last few years in other sports. Because in other sports, what people don't realize, when I say that Patrick Mahomes is not an expensive quarterback, everyone's like, well, $500 million. What's his cap number? Can they go buy a player while he's still on the roster? The answer is yes, because they just gave it all to him in a signing bonus.
I think the cap for him this year, even if he doesn't play,
Yeah.
is only 47.9.
Yeah, which is not that high for a
Which
quarterback.
is
Right?
actually drops him out of the top 5.
Right. So anyway, but Jesse, my point to people is this. This was not the type of restructuring where you go to a Patrick Mahomes and you're like, all right, look, next week we'll give you a $20 million signing bonus right away, but we need to bring your cap number down. I guarantee you, because we all saw what happened in UFC, restructure meant somehow, and I don't know how, but this is how contracts work a lot of the times, somehow, I promise you, New Day was going to make less money. Which, by the way, they signed 3 years ago to pretty good deals.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, but it's your fault you couldn't find something to do with these guys because their heel turn was masterful.
Yeah, the execution afterwards was not.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice for them to do that, but it was not executed
I don't think it
very
was
well.
because what I'm noticing is that TKO is because, by the way, yes, Triple H has been ousted as he tells TKO. He tells TKO who's doing what, and TKO makes the decision. Triple H is not, from any real reporting, fuck you, Brian Alvarez, and fucking anyone over at the Wrestling Observer newsletter. He's not looking at them and saying, oh, yeah, fuck the New Day. Triple H?
Right.
His wife was on Up, Up, Down, Down.
Correct.
His wife was a huge proponent of Xavier Woods for years.
Yes, he was.
Triple H was going to go home to that angry woman and say, I officially said that we needed to get rid of Austin Creed. He'd be sleeping on whatever rich couch they have.
That'd be a nice comfy couch, but still, not good.
Some of those rich couches, not as comfortable as you think.
Because they're decoration.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Those cheap futons, nicest bed you'll ever be on.
Yeah, I know I had one of those for a
Let's
while.
talk about Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So some of it has been rumored. Maybe it's the health, right?
Yeah.
Which to me makes no fucking sense because he doesn't actually have to wrestle every show.
Right.
Yeah, I know the travel of it all, but like, it's 1 day a week, and you just go right back home to Florida.
Yeah. Which, by the way, he lives in Pensacola.
Very nice.
That man makes more money than half of Pensacola
Right. So,
combined.
story being told. Couple of them.
Yeah.
One, it could be the health.
Mm-hmm.
Two, well, the report is, and maybe this is another reason why Brock Lesnar retired their thinking, is these guys were both asked to take 50% pay cuts. Well, we already know what Brock felt about Endeavor.
Yep.
And the only reason he actually stayed with WWE was he had a good conversation with Triple H and decided to stick around.
Yep.
Because apparently he was gonna quit.
Yep.
Because they still owe him money.
Mm-hmm.
The other story is, well, story-wise, it would not make sense, especially after meeting Jacob, because then in 3 weeks they have the Saudi show. He's not going to be on the Saudi show, which once again would make no sense. Why would the Saudis pay to have WWE and not have Roman Reigns? But okay.
Yeah.
Which one do I believe? I believe it's a mix of the first two.
Yep.
Is there some health stuff? I'm sure he's actively still fighting leukemia.
Yeah.
But I've always said if there's smoke, there's a little bit of goddamn fire.
Oh, yeah.
This is not the first time I've mentioned the fact that I was hearing about his contract and maybe TKO wanted to offer lower. And then it got me thinking, does TKO believe they're going to treat some of these guys the same way they've been treating their fighters? Because apparently, yes, one of the bigger superstars took a lesser deal. Everyone's trying to find out if it's Cody. Apparently, it is not Cody. And I'm like, Cody shouldn't.
Why would Cody?
I'm like, Cody should never even consider taking a lesser deal.
No.
No.
Because forget AEW, MLW would fucking offer you the bag, brother.
So it sounds like this has now been going around for a while, that they're trying to offer people lesser deals. So the cuts, the original thought of the cuts of those original superstars was for budget reasons was incorrect.
Well, budget cuts is the most cop-out excuse in all
Right.
the
So
history of sports.
some of the first budget cuts, so apparently to Alistair, was because of the money he was making on his re-signing.
Yep.
And he would not take a lesser deal.
You're right.
And he fucking shouldn't. He just came back.
Right.
The Wyatts. Well, why are we double paying the family? Because that was Triple H's choice to make sure that the family was financially taken care of.
Yeah.
And yes, they're separate talents on their own. Why would you try to foster them under the same deal, you dirty motherfuckers?
The thing that I don't understand, and I say...
You were going to try to tell MCMG to take a lesser deal. They're like, well, our deal runs out in about a month and a half anyway.
Just let us go.
We'll just go home.
They did it. They got the rub. They got the run.
Kyrie apparently was the other one.
She also wanted to go home, it's been reported.
So, well, that I don't believe. She went home. She didn't want to go home.
Well, but see, Jesse, here's the thing, and I want you to answer this because you're the big Japanese correspondent here on the show. Jesse, a lot of the people that are wrestling in WWE Japanese-wise, Jesse, I don't want to say they burned a bridge, but they certainly are not as receptive to Japanese wrestling as some people make it out for them to be. First of all, anyone who says, well, Asuka can go back to Stardom, she's burned that bridge, and she's fucking buried it.
She would never wrestle there again.
She has made it very clear that is the last place she'll ever work again.
Kyrie may end up in an AEW. I doubt it. Well, she would be the only one.
Well, the only way that she would end up there is, I think, that Kenny, because he really wanted her a couple of years ago. But that also means that Kenny got her a very favorable deal.
Probably.
Which again, no offense to Kyrie, because I love Kyrie Zane, would be another bad move by Tony, because once again, you're signing someone for way too much and you don't know what the value is of them yet. But again,
but I will say though,
subjective.
Here's the thing. Yes, Triple H might have overvalued bringing some of these talents back.
Sure.
But that was the fucking point.
Yeah.
So
to rebuild the trust and rebuild the...
And by the way, that's why some of Nick Khan's shit as he's going out to these meetings has been pissing people off. You knew the plan.
Yeah.
It was a plan to bring in talents that we can recycle in and out when the Roman Reigns, needed breaks well, clearly he's hurt again, unfortunately, when your Randy Orton needed breaks, stuff like that. Like, you can now cycle talent in and out, and it would keep it fresh.
Yeah. And by the way, to Jesse's point, Triple H has only been able to do that plan for about 6 total months of the years that he's been running.
And
by the way, they're not even consecutive 6 months.
Yeah.
And so
it's a total of maybe 6 months.
You're telling me, and clearly, yes, he was a part of the decision making, so he should take some heat. But you just brought that guy. Let's just on Alistair alone.
Yep.
You just brought him back. You were going to have him do this awesome little thing when it came to Randy and WrestleMania and all this shit.
And Zelina, we should mention.
And Zelina.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden he's fired. Creatively, that would bury the locker room's trust in you.
Yes.
I don't know. Now, I heard there was really no meeting per se, but he did talk to talents who were concerned, because I would be concerned too. Like, wait a minute. We just brought Thomas back. He just got back, guys. And regardless of...
And by the way, I want to kill this because no one in WWE, and I'm talking about talent, is stupid enough to do what the idiots over in AEW are doing. There is no issue with Tommy End.
Nobody thinks he's a cancer there. Nobody. Where that comes from, I have no idea.
And Jesse, I'm sorry, but what I've learned about those reports, by the way, I use in air quotes, well, he didn't want to take pins. Or maybe he wanted a little more explanation on the pin and was doing what every other wrestler who's ever fucking booked them, who's ever been in the business does, which is, hey, I don't have a problem taking a pin, but maybe I should be taking a pin that means something. So maybe you should all look in your own fucking house and realize that your own fucking piece of shit booker probably was going to have fucking Aleister Black, there it was Malachi Black, but have Malachi Black lose to some fucking nobody on a fucking Wednesday night. And maybe, just maybe, he didn't go, because this is what people always try to say, maybe he didn't go into Tony's office and say, fuck you, I'm not doing it. Maybe he said, hey, Tony, why am I doing it, and are we going to do something with it? And then, of course, Tommy End becomes the modern-day retail employee where management goes, oh, you don't think that what we're doing is 100% right? Okay, you have an attitude problem. Fucking bullshit like that. So you know what?
Right.
All the reports about the dude's a cancer, look, that locker room has proven 2 things. 1, they're incredibly friendly and tight. But B, holy shit, do they not like anything other than the smell of their own farts.
Well, no one from WWE has come out and be like, yeah, he was a cancer here. No, most people at WWE, like, that was shocking.
Yeah.
Like, we just got him back, and all of a sudden he's gone. So, TKO. If you would like to see the definition, because people didn't actually, there's a lot of people alive now who didn't see how Donald Trump actually tried to run his businesses and what they actually became in the late 90s and what they are now, which is just
dead
marketing name.
Yeah.
Which is all that. TKO is a terribly fucking run business. Once again, I apologize to the UFC fans who tried to warn us for years about this shit. These guys just believe it's celebrity, we want our bonuses, and the talent should make less money. It is because they've owned UFC for about 10 years, so this is just obvious now. This is just obvious. Some people have asked, is this worse than Vince? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. At least, almost like Tony, and maybe why they're doing this bullshit, is people were getting paid. Like, it was the old Good Brothers thing. Hey, if I'm not going to be on TV, as long as I'm getting paid when I'm waiting for your creative, I got no problem.
You're looking for the words guaranteed contracts.
Right.
At least they're guaranteed deals.
Semi-guaranteed. Just, I'm getting paid, even if it's lesser, because you don't have creative for me. Okay.
Yeah.
But that means I don't have to fucking come and eat catering just to get paid.
Right.
I don't have to pay for my flight to just, sit there.
Yeah.
This is bad business. And on top of the fact that creative has suffered, so guess what? Less people are going to the shows.
I will say this, Jesse,
and this,
yeah,
you overraised your prices so bad.
You were a week out from WrestleMania and you had 25% off packages.
That Triple H just allowed the wrestlers to go out there and fucking confront you about it.
Oh yeah.
And because it's guys you can't fire.
My favorite thing in the world was like people were, and again, even I kind of came out here and said, you don't think they didn't know what he was saying? I'm like, TKO probably had an idea that Punk was going to say something, and Triple H probably knew what Punk was going to say. But do you think TKO knew exactly what Punk was going to say?
I'm sure Paul didn't either. But that's the risk you run when you go do what you got to do tonight. I'll suffer the consequence because and yes, Triple H got a new deal. From what we have heard, it is not as lucrative as people think it is. So apparently, and that's going to be an issue. I think the guy who took a pay cut and now has made this worse for everyone is the boss. You can't do it. You can't do it. And I get it feels like Paul and Sean are just trying to be the peacekeepers.
Yeah.
To try to keep this train rolling. So there's a couple of options when it comes to TKO to me. This is just real.
And most important, leave them alone. Let them make money.
If you can, if anyone can, and if I'm Triple H, if I'm Stephanie, maybe I help as an agent, talk to Netflix. Hey, Ted, buy us. Don't because we already have buy us as a company. Seriously, get us the fuck out of this deal. This is a terrible deal we need out, right? Because I'm sure, because Netflix is apparently thrilled with their deal. They're thrilled with the $5 billion deal because right now, especially now with the vault, and they're getting more people because of the vault and shit, they're like, this is going to make us at least 3 times our money back.
Yeah.
Okay. And now WWE is going to go, buy us. See what the fuck they want? Buy us.
Well,
get us the fuck out of this deal.
There's a statement from WWE and TKO about Roman Reigns. It was a clerical error of why he was on the roster for them dates in June.
A clerical error in the world of entertainment is we are literally lying to you.
Yeah, they're lying to you.
And we're lying out our fucking ass.
There's no clerical error. Things have clearly changed.
Let me be very clear.
This
is a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
You pay that kind of money so clerical errors don't happen.
Correct.
Don't fucking lie to me.
And I have a question for both you guys.
Yeah?
Would it really bother you if Roman Reigns wasn't on the show for June?
It depends.
I love how you try to ask questions that are like specifically to the wrestling when we're not even trying to talk about wrestling.
No, it is about wrestling.
Yeah,
but it is about wrestling.
But it does depend.
Yeah.
So I mean, if he loses the title,
yeah, no, we don't need him.
The one we don't technically we may not need him, but
you've set a lot of things up.
I'm also. If he does that, he goes home and we don't see him for 6 months. Now I'm concerned.
Well, right now it's just for June.
Well, still,
4 days.
Yeah, they took him off
4 weeks.
The dates for June, but I'm like, yeah, but it's very abrupt when all of a sudden he was on there because even he said you're gonna see my ass all summer. He said that.
Yes, he did say
and
that.
To be fair to Mr. Joseph Anoa'i. Lati Joseph Anoa'i, I guess. That man does not lie to people. That's not who he is. So, if his original plan was to do all the dates, I think he was planning on doing all the dates. To remove himself off of dates, something happened. Mm-hmm. And if
it could be something personal, it could be something medical.
Right, you're right. And I'll say this though. And this is real to me, if Jacob Fatu wins at Backlash, I'm going to have real questions about that contract, depending on how long we don't see Roman. Because that's going to start to concern me that they came to him, asked for a pay cut, and he was just like, well, guess what? I can go home for the rest of the year, and you guys still owe me $20 million. I don't give a fuck.
Not to mention the fact he literally could just go to Hollywood.
Right.
At any time.
Right.
Okay, so this is the thing.
Because here's the thing. He would never take it public.
No, God, no.
Now, if it's true and they're willing to do this to him, CM Punk will damn sure take it public.
And here's the part that bothers me the most is the one thing. Okay, first and foremost, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a rant, but it's going to bring me back. I've started to watch, really the only show I watch on Hammer Media is Financial Audit. That's my sort of like background stuff right now.
I was wondering what you're about to say, but continue.
Yeah. So
I was like, Hammer Media, what the fuck is that?
That's what they have.
know,
Yeah.
Hammer Media.
So anyway, what I've been noticing about the show Financial Audit is, yes, this guy doesn't have any accounting degree. He doesn't have any, budgeting history in business, blah, blah, blah. He's a failed musician with college, all this stuff. But the one thing that you don't understand when you watch the show in clips is when you watch the full 90 minutes, the guy starts to get really pissy and gets really mean and insulty when he has to go through 60 minutes of listening to somebody talk about their finances and realizing they're fucking morons.
Oh.
So basically, what he's doing is he's just telling people the obvious facts and truth that are in front of you. And again, it's really easy in this modern culture to take a clip of someone saying, well, them Jews, when in reality, there was a whole setup to that. He was probably talking to a Jewish person. They laughed about it. But, that's how clips work these days. But, what I'm getting at is this. If you just confront people with the obvious, they usually don't have a lot to say. And so that's what I'm trying to get through to people, is that the obvious is you bought something for around $6.5 billion. In the first month that you were legally the owner, you made $1 billion in the course of 6 days. Because Monday they're always off. So then, within the same fucking year, it was announced that you sold the rights to Monday Night Raw to Netflix for
$5 billion, but it was also Netflix and the library. Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing. In the fucking world of math and numbers, and clip this shit, you made $6 billion on the books. I understand there's taxes and net and all this other kind of stuff. But you have grossed $6 billion, which, Leroy, how much is left from their quote-unquote purchase deal?
Nothing.
No. $6.5 billion is what they paid for it.
Yeah.
They've in my story, they've already made $6 billion. So what's left?
$500 million.
Okay.
And
so
they probably made that already.
$500 million is left, Jesse. We sold Netflix $5 billion. We sold NXT for $25 million.
Shocked
Which,
it was-
by the way, was free
It was free.
before this deal.
USA had it for free, correct.
So then we sold SmackDown to USA for a decent chunk of change.
That was actually $500 million.
So basically,
It should be.
what I'm trying to say is within the first 2 years,
They're in the black.
you have paid for this fucking $6.5 billion purchase.
Yep, they're in the black.
They look like Jesse.
on the on the WWE side of things.
Yeah.
They have made money.
Okay. Meanwhile, back at the ranch,
Cucamonga?
the UFC has come in. How many years now? 3 years. 3 years with WWE. No. 3 years with WWE, correct? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. 3 years?
Yeah.
2.5, 3 years.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be no. It's 3 because remember WrestleMania 40 is when they bought it.
Correct.
So anyway,
Okay, yeah.
so 3 years ago, the UFC was still making quarterly more money than WWE because the WWE had not officially been on your books fully yet. Jesse knows how business works.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get Q4 of last year. For those of you who don't understand how this works, and this is not to call people stupid, I'm just breaking it down for people that may not understand it. A year is 12 months. 3 goes into 12 4 times.
Correct.
So every 3 months, the
There's a
SEC
quarter.
has what they call
The quarterly
quarter
report.
filings.
Yeah.
And sorry, reporting. You are correct. I apologize. So at the end of Q4, which is the fourth and final one of the year, the WWE, 3 years later, is making 100,000 more net than the entity you have owned for a decade. So in 3 months, they made $1.7 billion. In 3 months, the UFC made 1.6, which means that if you are a smart business person, I'm going to put Jesse Stowe in the chair for a minute.
Go for it.
Jesse Stowe has now seen and heard these numbers. Mm-hmm. Jesse, back to my earlier thing. Are you going to call up your A team and say we need to have a conversation about these numbers? Or are you going to call the C team who didn't make you as much?
It's usually the team that hasn't made you as much, so the C team.
Okay, so what I don't understand, and I'm just bringing up the numbers, the logic, much like Caleb Hammer does, regardless of degree. And I'm saying to people, what in the fuck are we doing?
That's a great question.
Why in the world do we wish to model something after something that makes less money?
And where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
You say that every show now. Is there a sponsorship I don't know about? Is that game about to launch a new PlayStation Plus thing and you just haven't told me that we're on?
And we'll be on it?
I want to own it is why I keep saying it. Yeah, I want us to.
That IP's got to be somewhere up for sale at this point.
It's got to be somewhere.
That's an old-ass show.
No one's made a book or a series in
yeah,
like 15
exactly.
years.
But no, Jesse, this is the logic that if we get away from business and wrestling and the idiocy of Mark Shapiro for 5 minutes, that I want to talk about for 2. What in the world are we doing when every metric, and by the way, these are the SEC official release numbers by TKO themselves, but they're still buddy with Dana, but they're telling Triple H, you got to play by our rules. Triple H has made you money. He's paid for this fucking deal. And by the way, Jesse, you want to know the craziest part? I didn't even factor in the 3 years you've owned it, there's been Saudi money.
Correct. Because that deal doesn't run out, I believe, for at least 2 more years.
But I'm just saying is that on the fucking surface, you have to either A, be so obsessed with celebrity life that you don't care, or B, have to be, and you asked the question, just as moronically greedy as Vince McMahon, and you have to look at a deal that has been nothing but positive to you and be like, we have won 100% of the time we fought with this deal. Okay, got to change the whole thing. You're either obsessed with a bunch of fucking celebrities. There's not that many of them that like wrestling. And by the way, I'm sick and damn tired of sitting there watching Raw and my wife, who's even more tuned into the fucking world of the internet than I am, look at all the celebrities that they talk about in the front row and her go more than once a show. Who?
There's a couple of people I go, why? What?
Well, I understand because most of them were born after you decided the sun was still going to stick around. But the thing about it is,
well, we're still thinking about that.
Anyway,
I'm looking outside. What sun?
We live in the Midwest. I'm talking about the rest of the world.
It's
what
behind
sun?
the clouds.
I'm talking about the rest of the world.
I see gray. No titties too.
That's gonna get us copyright struck. I guarantee.
Not really.
It works. But
hold on, you can look at.
But
it
anyway,
and find
no, seriously.
Because it is not a wonderful world.
But no, seriously, this is the equivalent of what the content creators that are doing Sleep Token reviews have been talking about. Is their videos that are researching and
what
talking
a bunch of leeches.
Hold on. Jesse, RCA and Sony has been copyright striking even in Arcadia videos 11 months after the album dropped.
That's crazy.
Now, either they've become just the antichrists of music, or something big is coming, which from Sleep Token would be probably obvious.
Oh, probably.
But Jesse, that's the thing. They're asking why now 11 months later.
Right.
I'm asking why now 3 years later after on paper alone you've paid off this deal.
Like I tell people, the only thing I could come to is this. There were only technically 2 deals Vince was willing to take, and we got the best out of
the two.
The 2, and they were both terrible.
Because the problem is, Jesse, what people don't understand is that if the Saudis would have bought it, the United States, because it was Biden, not Trump, would have stepped in and done one of 2 things. Either A, killed the deal, or B, said you got to move the whole thing out of the United States. Because let me tell you something. The United States of America is very, very nervous about that fund and what it's invested in.
Yeah.
Because, unfortunately, it is an unlimited amount of money, technically.
I mean, there's no such thing as unlimited money, but there's always ways to get more.
Yeah.
And none of them are positive.
No. So, yes.
None of them.
So, yes, although people come here and they want us to talk wrestling, we'll talk a little bit as we get out of here later in the show. But right now we have to cover, and this is a thing I always bring up, we have to cover what is relevant to you as a wrestling fan. And when the majority of stories on social media, because this is how you properly use social media, and I know this company is using it properly because we share all the videos, you have to be conscientious of what that week was the most popular topic, and unfortunately it wasn't in ring. Now, to the sickos, Darby Allin's run is legendary already, and I'm like, okay.
You go ahead.
Sure, whatever.
You go ahead. Listen. I am very. Listen, I love me a beautiful goth girl.
You do.
I do.
By the way, seriously, TikTok, what is wrong with that trend right now of girls filming themselves looking full goth, saying, I invited my boyfriend or our boyfriends out to dinner, and they walk in, the boyfriends are like shocked. I'm like, boys, you don't know what you've just been given as a gift. Shut the fuck up.
You take your blood sacrifice, sir, and you get ready.
Yeah. Yep.
Let me be clear.
I agree. I totally agree.
I'm not trying to shit on anyone's parade, but for me, this is just fucking lazy.
Yeah.
So we're doing he's gonna overcome too much and then lose the MJF story
Again. Hasn't MJF taken the title twice now from someone who did that?
It's so fucking lazy.
Yeah. And before we talk about it, we'll finish this up. But Jesse, now we'll get to yours and Leroy's responses. What exactly do you think the truth is? Are these guys obsessed with being famous, or are they actually so greedy that they're willing to turn it away from something that has already made them all their money back? And this is the part I don't understand the most before I let you guys go. In 3 years, you not only made the money back, you've profited, and you're going to possibly own it for another 20.
Yeah, let me...
Go ahead, Leroy. Join in with Jesse.
Let me be clear, man. This deal does not benefit the wrestling fan. To be honest, it doesn't even benefit the wrestling industry anymore. It benefits 4 people. That's it. It benefits Ari Emanuel, his daughter, Mark Shapiro, and Nick Khan. And I can't believe I'm saying that about Nick Khan now.
You've defended him for a long time.
Right, but it is almost obvious, especially after that last little that conference thing. I'm just like, I don't want to hear this fucking man speak. He does not want to run into me in public because I have saved WWE's records on my phone. And I'm going to be like, I think you were better off as the second in charge to Stephanie. Yeah. I really think you were. Because you publicly speaking makes me hate your fucking guts.
Yeah.
And when it comes to TKO overall, and the only good news is this. WWE fans fight smart, where, like I said, the UFC fans kind of gave up.
Yeah.
WWE fans will not show up to shows.
Yep.
Well, wrestling fans.
Yeah.
They'll yell at you in public.
Yeah.
Like, you got a fight on your hand if you're going to
We learned from Jets fans.
Well, it's just like you get to a point where you're just like, I love this thing, and it feels like you don't want me to be a part of it. Now, fortunately, because Vince wasn't going anywhere, it worked for him, right?
Well, okay, Jesse, and Leroy, please jump in on this thing right here. I think what people don't understand when they say, "Oh, it was better under Vince," Jesse, from a business perspective, yes, maybe it was, but Leroy, clearly, the talent and the booking wasn't better under Vince. So kind of. When it comes to TKO is actually fucking with the one, but like where Vince did one thing super wrong, TKO's doing both of them wrong.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, they're thinking about padding their pocketbook.
Which, don't get me wrong, Jesse, Vince was
normal.
too.
Well, yeah.
But Vince did it in a way that fucking at least benefited the fan.
I don't know about that.
Well, not from a booking perspective.
I gotta say,
but that's the thing.
Let's not rewrite history.
Yeah, it wasn't better under Vince in terms of the talent was treated better because, like I said, folks, first of all, Becky Lynch, I'll just say it, ass ain't bubbly enough, tits weren't big enough, she would have been cut within fucking 6 months. Charlotte Flair, based on the blonde and the tallness alone, probably still would have gotten to where she would have been.
Well, about to say the name alone.
And yeah, and the name, which is weird because he hated Ric Flair. And Maxine Dupree would have been in fucking the tightest G-string you ever saw in your life.
We saw what he thought of the original LA Knight Maxine Dupree. We saw it.
But here's the deal.
Yeah.
He wasn't allowed to do fully what he wanted because the women's revolution happened. If Vince McMahon was allowed to do what he wanted, Maxine Dupree would have been in a G-string and then fired in 6 months.
Listen, it's just they can't lift her skirt on television, but I wouldn't be so fucking sure.
Right. But what I'm saying is from a booking standpoint.
At that point, that was 2019. You could just do that shit.
Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is that from a booking perspective, Vince was a problem. But from a business standpoint, it was at least still accessible to the wrestling fan. And now,
Sure.
And now you've got a situation where they are not only pricing out. See, the problem that they don't understand, wrestling is not polo or horse racing. And what I mean by that is go look at what it costs to go to the Kentucky Derby for a decent-ass seat.
It's horrible.
You ain't fucking paying that with a year's worth of
Yeah,
your
it's
fucking
horrible.
pay. But the thing about it is that, Jesse, we have accepted in American culture for years horse racing and polo, oddly enough both involving horses, that was the rich person thing. We just kind of accepted that. We moved past it. But, Jesse, we weren't necessarily looking to go do it. Wrestling is not a luxury thing. The average person who's a wrestling fan is Leroy. And that's not an insult to you, sir. You're a father. You're a husband. You are a I'm sorry.
You were a husband.
I know, that's fair. I was on a roll. But you are a father. You want to give your kids experiences. But you are also the type of person who doesn't want to break. Unlike some of the people on financial audit, you're one of the smart ones. You're not going to break the bank for them to get an experience.
No, just to put them through. Well, no, probably not put them through college. But yeah, I'd
Student
rather
loans,
break
they'll
the
be fine.
bank to do that.
Student loans, and make sure the degree isn't a bunch of horse shit.
I know.
If all of a sudden your son comes to you and says he wants to go into like an English degree, you smack that boy.
It's like, yeah, find a good labor job. It pays.
Not even that. Just a degree with a growing field that makes money. But anyway, that's the thing. Rich people do not view wrestling as, Jesse, once a week, we're going to go to a Lakers game for a photo shoot. They do that during the season. The first, 20 rows of Lakers games are just people who technically are paying to be photographed there, so they're in People magazine?
That's about it. But
wrestling doesn't work like that.
Yeah, the people that have the
Jesse's
money...
Jesse's still here, by the way, folks. He's just very distracted by something.
The people that have...
No, I'm letting him speak. Go ahead.
People that have the money, it's like 15% of the people that have money. A lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, there's a whole lot rest of us that don't have as much money, but they want wrestling. They want the simple things in life and not going to see the Kentucky Derby and shit like that.
Allow me to sort of put this into perspective for everybody. Guys, why do you think that someone who's as big a star right now as Jelly Roll is a fan of pro wrestling?
Because he's Southern.
He didn't grow up with the money.
Well, but he's Southern.
Well, yeah. But that's the thing, Jesse. He comes
That
from...
don't matter either.
But
He's from the South, yes.
But Jesse, what I'm saying is that he didn't grow up from a young age, because none of the Kardashians are wrestling fans, but they grew up where from the moment they turned to 18, it's all about photos in the magazine.
As a Northerner, let's be real. Everybody to the South is a little bit dumb.
Yeah, a little bit. The Mason-Dixon.
The words of Jesse Stowe are that of a New
Let
Yorker
me
and
be
not
clear.
those of anyone from 13 Cards
That's
Southern
fine.
Exchange.
That's fine. I like Willie, but he moved down there. Dumb. Dumb. Very dumb.
Don't say that. That's my other brother from another mother. Don't say that, man.
I love him, but that was
I love
dumb.
Willie.
Love Thomas. You live in Arizona. Dumb. Very dumb.
Well, he got slapped a couple times.
Ain't shit going on in the South, bro.
But
We got Buc-ee's. Yep, keep saying it.
Well, Wisconsin will have it here soon.
yeah, they're having one in southern Wisconsin.
That's because all Wisconsinites do is drink and eat cheese.
I mean, that's
and go
fair.
to Quick Trip.
And then wonder why you died of a heart attack by a fucking 50.
My favorite thing in the world is that map that keeps going around Facebook that goes, what area of the country wins in a drinking contest? And it splits the United States into like 9 separate areas. I'm like, 6 wins alone because we have Michigan and Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's Minnesota.
North Dakota's just a good backup.
Yeah, it had Minnesota, Wisconsin,
The unfortunate
Michigan,
thing for you people is not understanding that the region that we're from, there ain't a whole lot to do but drink and fucking watch TV.
About fucking right.
But no, Jelly Roll, where he grew up, he came from the fucking gutter down, And,
I mean, I've seen his face. I know.
Well, yeah, I mean, he
Come
had
on
a rough
now.
life.
Jelly's the one celebrity that actually said we need to get the fuck out of here.
True.
Yeah.
But I've also seen his face.
Well,
Jesse's laughing.
he
about
got
it. Kids. But anyway,
I'm joking.
But anyway, this
people
isn't
that
saying,
had
this
that
isn't
kind of
saying-
upbringing,
Yeah, this
mean
isn't
that's
saying,
what they watch.
This isn't saying that only poor people watch wrestling. What I'm saying is realistic people enjoy wrestling. That's why Rob Parker got his fucking ass chewed by Mark Henry, and he fucking deserved it.
I was hoping Mark was going to whoop his ass.
Well, they were on,
But he should have traveled to Detroit and fucked him up.
Oh, come on. That wouldn't have been as much fun because that Rob Parker would have sat next to him and been like, yes, sir, Mr. Henry. Yes, sir. Rob Parker wouldn't have said shit unless he was on a fucking
But you got to look at it
computer
too.
screen.
Is during
Talking shit.
during the 80s
Shut his bitch ass up.
when Vince McMahon got it,
Chris Broussard left you, and now no one cares about your
Right.
show.
he catered to the families,
Yeah.
to everyone. So all those families and those kids that watch wrestling then are still in it now. Well, they have families. So in turn, it's kind of, you could say, a family tradition.
Supposed to be.
My parents watched wrestling. That got me to watch
I'll
wrestling.
never
and
I'll
it got
never
my
understand.
kids to watch wrestling.
I'll never understand.
It works.
I'll never understand in my life how the company that everyone in the world just accepts is the, quote, real evil empire, not just because they own it now, but everyone says Disney is the most evil corporation in the world. And I'm like, yeah, but they still entertain the fuck out of you.
I don't know, but how? And that's always my problem. Like, how?
That's what
Right?
I'm asking.
Because they own everything?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
If that's your definition of evil, listen, man, I've been mostly poor my whole life. If your definition of evil is the fact that somebody owns something, like I've gone and talked to landowners, just doing my delivery jobs in the past or whatever, and of course they're not fucking evil people. Some of those families are those couples are retired, and so they bought land, they live off the land. Like that's fun. Like that's the American dream, is to own some shit.
If you look at the history of Walt Disney corporations, they have acquired a ton of studios and assets over the years. But you know what they have an amazing track record of? Hey, Jesse, if they're not making money, they step in and they reevaluate.
They step in and do what they feel they have to do, whether you agree with it or not.
But if they make a shit ton of money,
They leave you alone.
they tend to not care about your existence.
Well, they tend to just let you do what you do, and continue to invest in you.
Which is why when Jesse Stowe brought up Disney as an investor and everyone laughed, Jesse goes, so what, and I'm going to do this in your way, what would have been the problem? They would have looked at this company in the first week, they would have seen $1 billion out of Philadelphia, and they would have just said, okay, so we don't need to talk until next WrestleMania?
Right. We'll do our yearly meetings after Mania. We'll see where you are. That's simple.
Because Disney, when they're not run by the idiot banker who decided that Disney Plus needed to be anything and everything all at once, and it was like, Bob did not tell you any of this.
Bro, it was so weird because it was just like everyone was going to be willing to give you a break because of what happened with COVID.
Yep.
But then you almost made Scarlett Johansson never work with Disney again. You know how much of a prick you have to be.
She was also one of the original big stars that signed with Marvel.
Right.
So it's like Bob Iger was like, oh, we have to cater to her a little bit. Why? Well, because A, she's an original, and B, in case you haven't noticed, every movie she's in makes a lot of fucking money. But the thing about it was that, once again, Jesse Stowe, the business guy, will tell you, successful businesses look at a Scarlett Johansson incident, and we've already said on the show 1,000 times, so I'll paraphrase. Scarlett, how much money do you think we cost you? Cool, write her a check. That's the end of that.
Right.
Because publicly, you're not the evil empire.
Right.
But now, Roman Reigns, New Day, Aleister Black, now you're the evil corporation.
Right.
To the point where at some point, and this is what bothers me about people like the TKO guys, because Mark Shapiro, I guarantee, will be the first guy to find a microphone. That dude's never seen a microphone. He has like a deep throat. But no, here's the thing.
Apparently.
But here's the thing, Jesse, if this roster, just one day, not on TV with Triple H as a storyline, but if they all just decide they're not going to perform, what are your dumbasses going to do? Fire everybody and turn yourself into ROH before Tony bought it, which was still better than after Tony bought it?
If that talent decided to strike, the money they lose would be astronomical.
But the problem is, Jesse, unlike Disney, who stops it before it gets to that point, because Disney sees a little fire, they immediately put it out. Sure. TKO is apparently going to let the forest burn to the fucking ground before they realize that all they had to do was let Stephanie and Nick Khan do what they were doing, mostly under Stephanie, we're learning.
Correct.
And they would have an investment rebound like no one has ever seen.
Right.
Jesse, SEC and business magazines would have been posting articles about this for years,
right,
saying this is the best investment arguably financially in the history of the fucking United States. Right. But instead, you allow someone like Mark Shapiro to speak at a university and say some bullshit. And then, once again, I just want to point out obvious things. This is me speaking out loud. And then and then he pretends like he's standing on it, and then Jesse's like, wait a second, motherfucker. You tried to backtrack it and be like, well, what I meant was, that means you lied. Or that means you stepped in it, and now you're trying to step out of it. Yeah,
it's disgusting stuff, man. To me, like I said, I still don't know if it's worse than Vince, because Vince actively going, well, for those fans, but I book for our fans. Like, well, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, you've lost 8 million viewers over a 10-year span. I think you're running out of fucking fans, Vince.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm starting to understand, to become a billionaire, you have to be delusional.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll never get there. But it's it is one of those things where it's just like,
some days I wouldn't mind.
I can't be completely delusional.
I can't live in a world where there's two things. A, I can't live in a world where I get business. You have to ass kiss sometimes. I can't live in a world where you ask me to ass kiss, I do it, and then you all of a sudden are like, I need more. No thanks. I have to stomach myself at the end of the day. And number two, I can't live in a world where I'm so ignorance is bliss that all of a sudden you turn around and you're like, I sold everything for $1 billion.
I know you call it ass kissing,
but I can be president.
Some of it is just working with people where it's beneficial.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to call it ass kissing, because I don't usually believe kissing ass, but I will work with people when it's beneficial
to you. Yeah.
Well, to mostly to me, but to all parties involved if I can do it.
Yeah.
But mostly to me. Because I'm not trying, because you fuck people, like, that's the other thing, like, to constantly fuck people over. I'm like, how do you ever get anyone to work with you when all you do is fuck people over?
Well, and that's the thing, Jesse. We're getting there. And unfortunately, when you watch these fighters, holy shit, Jesse, Dana is scraping the bottom of the barrel.
He doesn't have stars anymore.
But Jesse, what I'm saying is that these are the guys who have been fighting for 5 years. They haven't made a dime. They got offered more money than they've ever seen, and they think I've reached the promised land. Not understanding that it's good for like a year,
right.
And then all of a sudden you're making the same amount, and you're like, but I'm doing more.
Right.
And Jesse, that's the problem in WWE. If the whole talent roster just looks at TKO and says, yeah, we're not doing this, Jesse, he can't fire all of them. Because, by the way, folks, if he does, Jesse, they would lose out on their investment. They would piss off every investor because they got to pay all these people.
Not to mention now you got fans who don't go, so now your shows are empty. So now you just lost money on live events. People aren't going. There's going to be no merch to sell, so you just lost money on that.
But the other problem is, and this is the problem that I've always said that there is with America, we will protest, and yes, that is a God-given right you have by living in the United States under the Constitution. But the problem is we never can come together and understand that we all have to agree on the same thing. When Wendy's said, we're going to start trying dynamic pricing, which for those of you that don't remember, they said, if we're in the middle of our 12 o'clock lunch hour, we'll say 12 o'clock is the East Coast because that's usually what they use.
Yeah.
Well, then that means that the price of a certain item will go up instantaneously during the lunch rush based on the demand for that item. And I'm sitting here like, if everyone in the United States of America, because regardless of what anyone wants to agree to, when it comes to a major Fortune 500 company, the United States is still the largest business section you can have in the fucking world. That's why TikTok was technically forced into selling a good portion of their stuff, was because if you are going to get banned in the United States, that was 188 million users that you were going to lose overnight, and that's not good for your bottom line. And trust me, as Jesse will tell you, we're looking at numbers because he and I look at them all the time. The rest of the world wasn't making that up in time, Jesse, before they were going to go out of business.
Right.
So basically,
even though they were kind of forced into a shitty situation.
Well, yeah. No. 100% I agree. But like that's why they caved, was because they would have lost everything versus something.
Right.
But that's the thing. If everyone in America decided for one day to not go to Wendy's, Wendy's stockholders would have been like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
But unfortunately, there's always someone who either A, doesn't follow the internet, or B, doesn't think it's that big a deal if they go in and they get the one chicken sandwich because they're on their way to work. And then the problem is that one person is actually a billion people, and the next thing you realize, the company, even with all these people protesting, still made enough. And that is the problem with wrestling fans, is if you had a show that looked like the show where they canceled because of the Chris Benoit tragedy. Now, that was by their choice. That was not by a fan choice. But if you had one night that looked like that 10 minutes before the doors opened and everyone was just sitting in the parking lot,
right?
You don't think Ari Emanuel's phone wouldn't be ringing off the hook 5 minutes before the show started? But that's the problem. There's enough people willing to pay the prices, willing to go to the shows, and willing to look past everything that I always tell people, Vince could have been fixed in a week. Raw and SmackDown and NXT could have just been empty shows.
Right.
But nobody on a grand enough scale was willing to do it because we live in a society that has so much FOMO, they don't understand that if you can sacrifice for a day, hell, 7 days. Did they take away your house? Did they take away your groceries?
Nope.
Was your cable taken away? No. After those 3 things, what else do you need? For a week of your life. All they had to do for a week was tell Vince McMahon, you're not getting any tickets. You're not getting any stadium revenue, which means the stadium is going to go back to you and say, well, you didn't make back what we paid you to be here. Because again, WWE does get a cut of when they show up.
Correct.
So, but like, TKO will only learn when everyone just decides, we'll go to the arena, won't step inside, we'll all stand outside. And you want to know who will be standing right next to us? The talent.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
because the one thing that Ari Emanuel is driven by is clearly money.
Right.
And I'm not asking him to be driven by the love of the game or the love of the wrestling. I'm not asking for that. I'm actually asking for him to go to the basic instinct that he has, which is greed.
Right.
But the problem is that much like the tribalism between the companies about the talent and the booking, there is an improper balance of understanding that if you want Tony to get better, because there is a large, because despite what Jesse and I and Leroy joke about, there is a large section of the Sicko fan base that does have a lot of questions about this booking. But unfortunately, Jesse, they still fill the arena. And there's still people gassing him up.
The smaller arenas that go to, for sure.
Yeah. Well, but see, Jesse, here's the thing. He's proven he doesn't care that he's downsized buildings. There's enough people in the building to make it sound like it. That's the problem.
Pretty soon it's going to be a high school basketball arena.
The problem is the visuals don't make sense to him.
Your daughter's going to cheerlead at one of those. AEW.
No.
Oh, God.
No, I show up there, she'd be like, Where's Bianca? No, this is different. I don't want to be here.
No one can ever convince me all billionaires are smart.
Right.
Like, I'm like, that's a joke, but I made the joke before. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. TBS is paying them enough money. They should be fine. They're not going to run out of fucking, like, opportunity for TV.
And then all of a
now
sudden...
we're about to run out of TV opportunities.
Yeah.
We will see, yeah.
But anyway, before we get out of here, we won't necessarily do a full card, but Jesse, you mentioned it and you've wanted to go into it. This doesn't help Kevin Knight at all. That guy who has been if I put his accomplishments on the fucking whiteboard, that guy's year should be Wrestler of the Year caliber.
Yeah.
He upset Darby. By the way, that was the other weird part. He beat Darby Allin in the Continental Classic, and yet Darby Allin just turned around and helped him.
Won the title.
Well, they're both baby faces. It doesn't work like that. That's not how wrestling works. But anyway, because again, even baby faces have egos. That's how you get baby faces into stupid situations.
Right.
But anyway,
Yep.
Jesse, he upset Darby Allin. He had a decent tournament. He won supposedly their top mid-card championship. It's at least advertised as such. He's been having tag team win after tag team win after tag team win, and then he wins a match that we already know is just going to lead to the guy you beat becoming the world champion again.
I gotta tell people, the Sicko's trying to go off. It's a great match. Never, drive my bus. Here's the thing, man. The match was phenomenal.
Of course. MJF can work, and Kevin
Knight's a special talent.
He is.
I threw this back at the guy. I said, okay, since you're such a WWE and AEW lover, I'm like, I watched a pretty fucking excellent match on Raw last week.
Which one? There was a few.
The singles match. Son of a bitch.
Come on, Leroy.
All right.
You're supposed to be the WWE guy on the show.
Why?
I don't know why I'm losing the Raw card from last week. Anyway,
Which one?
And go down.
Not the Penta?
So, yes, so right
Penta
there.
and Rusev?
So, Penta and Rusev, right?
Awesome.
So, it ends in a DQ. But they're pushing the...
No, it did not end in a BDQ.
Oh,
Penta won.
I thought he won because of DQ. But still,
No.
they're pushing the story of the Intercontinental title picture. And all these guys want a run at it, including Javon Evans, all that stuff. It did not ruin a great match. And going into this week's Raw, we still have a story to continue about the Intercontinental title picture. Even though technically he did beat most of these guys in a ladder match. But that's fine. No problem there.
Well, except for Ethan Page, who was
correct. He's
himself
a new addition, correct.
To the title picture there.
With Kevin Knight and MJF, here's the thing. Kevin Knight won that match. Excellent match. Yes, Darby Allin, I believe, came out afterwards because Kevin actually low-blowed MJF to win the match.
Yep.
Because MJF was trying to cheat, got caught by the ref, tried to get the ring, got low-blowed, got pinned. Now, I would think now as a viewer, that guy should get a shot. If MJF is champion, he should get a shot at him because he beat him. And he beat him in his own game and retained his own title to, Now, if this is WWE, I would believe Triple H is going to probably do that match on a Raw, but it's going to happen in a few weeks. So there's a reason for that, right?
Yeah.
And plus, he would continue to build on the babyface, talking about like, "Hey, I beat the former champ."
Now remember,
if he becomes champion.
Now remember, this is the joke on the show. That's Triple H minus TKO interference.
Even now, he would probably at least try to. To give him some credit, Raw has been better than SmackDown by a fucking mile.
SmackDown's been gutted from its entire talent base.
So. Which that's the other reason.
90% of the stories that were happening before WrestleMania are no longer with the company.
Right. Like somebody did the whole like the 5-5 with the MFTs and the Whites, but they're like, dude, only like 3 people remain from this fucking match. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
So at least you're like, okay, going into Raw this week, I'm interested to see the dynamics between all these characters for this Intercontinental Championship. Can't wait to see it, right? Kevin beat MJF. Yes, it's going to probably lead, of course, to, I think, what is it, next month? Their next pay-per-view, AEW?
Leroy, what's the next AEW pay-per-view?
I believe it's next month. Or it's the end of this month.
Is it the end of May?
Either the end of May or the beginning of June.
You guys might have to be reviewing that show by yourselves. 'Cause, I'm not here the last week of May.
So here's the thing. So he is going to get his shot at Darby. He's probably going to beat him.
Yeah.
But shouldn't that mean, right, story-wise, we should be hearing Kevin Knight talk all kinds of shit when he sees MJF, and he should want a championship match, whether he wins or not.
May 14th.
Okay.
Double or Nothing. That's the next pay-per-view.
That's just May 24th.
May 24th.
Yeah.
And then May 9th, they have a special TV one.
Don't care about that. It's May
24th.
Yeah.
May 24th. I keep telling you, and I love you for mentioning the dates. You do not have to mention the dates of the TV specials. They really don't matter.
No one cares. Trust me, they rename it. It's just whatever Dynamite was.
Right. So, his plans did not fucking change.
No.
So, here's the thing. You would think we would see Kevin Knight now week to week want to get at MJF and want to win that title, the big title.
Yeah.
We will not hear Kevin Knight mention it once before then.
Nope.
It will happen on a random episode.
Yep.
MJF will just retain.
Yep.
Sickos, there's a reason people don't watch the show.
Yeah.
Because there's no reason to come back every week.
Now, I want you to look at the Sickos, and I want you to also talk to them about something that they probably don't understand because they're probably not in the metal scene. Compare AEW to that metal band who got a hardcore fan base, and now the fan base is saying, well, fine, then we'll be the only 700,000 watching. We don't need more people. What happens to that band after a while, Jesse?
Well, less people start to show up. Less people start to care. Here's the thing, because every band has its hardcore fan base, just like pro wrestling.
Yes.
So AEW has its hardcore fan base, and your favorite band, one of your favorite bands at the moment, Sleep Token, has its hardcore fan base.
Yep.
The only good thing right now for Sleep Token is that its hardcore fan base has not actively chased away the rest of metal fans. Now, there's some who weren't going to like them for whatever reason. That is what it is. It's music. It's subjective, just like wrestling. But that's the other problem, sickos.
It's like you and me with President right now. We seem to be on an island with like 18 people. But I enjoy President, so.
I love President. But I will say, like, when it comes to the sickos, that was the other thing. You actively chase people away when they were trying to get into your company. Now, yeah, somebody used the clip that O'Shea said like a year and a half ago or whatever. But like he said, he's like, but still, I've gone to shows and it still happens.
Yeah.
Like you guys are, it's too much. And the reason it's too much, and probably one of the last things I'll say before we get out of here, is that like, I never went to a New Japan show here in America down there in Texas to tell people who went and who had never really seen it but were interested in all of it, why the fuck are you here? Shit like that. We just inform them. Oh, dude, this has been going on. You whip out your phone. Yeah, Takahashi last week got his ass whooped, bro. He's showing them the shit. And so now when they're watching the match, they're into it. And now they want to watch New Japan every week. Though, like I would tell them, you would have to get up at 4 a.m. So just watch it the next day. But it's just like you can't be so toxic that you push other people away from the thing you love. Star Wars fans almost did it for fucking 15 years.
Because, by the way, Jesse, do you know who it ends up hurting the most at the end of the day?
The company you love.
The band or the wrestlers.
Yeah.
Now, last three things, a little rapid fire. For you, Leroy, I have no idea who Danhausen's partner is. I just don't want it to be Jelly Roll. Now,
I agree.
Now,
That's fair.
now, Jesse, last two things, both kind of New Japan rated. Number one, he's now debuted. Do you like what Evil's looking like right now? Do you think he's a real contender?
I'm interested to see what his name will be on Tuesday because they didn't. They said he's evil, but they didn't call him evil.
They said the former things have just gotten evil, and they did refer to him as the former IWGP Heavyweight Champion,
which they will
Yes, they
nowadays.
did.
You've also stated on the show, great young in-ring talent.
Oh, and to clear
Was
up,
in a shit story.
to clear up, he chose NXT.
Right, his choice.
His choice, because like I said, I was told he was signed to go to the main roster.
Yeah.
So he chose to come down here. Big ups to him to do that.
Yeah. Now, again, you said, because I don't want you to reiterate everything. You said really good in-ring talent.
Excellent
Kind
talent.
of a shit story. He was in there for a little while.
Oh yeah, with the Torture Club. Yeah, that shit was
First
bad.
and
That shit was
foremost,
horrible.
I've seen so many back and forths. I don't care. It's EO's life. As far as I know, they're still engaged.
From what I know, they're still engaged.
But the reason why they didn't get married for all this time is because one's having to be in America all the time, one's having to be in Japan.
Right.
That's a hard fucking thing to do.
Right.
But number two, Jesse. So Will Ospreay's a cuck?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that shit.
What I loved this week, because I've been saying this since this bullshit started.
I'm not talking about AEW, I'm talking about New Japan, but yeah, no, we'll combine
Even
the two.
worse.
Because what's his name actually said, "Fuck you for being the Death Riders" or whatever it was.
Yeah. So I loved that there were some of the sicko pages out there going, "This makes no sense." Okay, so he came back, understandably wanting to kill
John
was
Moxley.
technically a babyface, John Moxley.
Yeah, yes.
But
Wasn't even technically, he was.
right, and so, but to be fair, like John as a babyface should give him the match because he should understand. I did try to end the guy's career.
Yep.
Okay.
He saw the error of his ways.
right.
John did.
But now, for some fucking reason, he's full heel again, and he's inviting him into the Death Riders.
After kidnapping him, yes.
And Will just starts training with them.
Yep.
I'm out.
So-
what the fuck is going on?
Well,
What-
now, okay, here's my question.
and yes, he showed up in Japan.
Yeah, what's that about?
Yeah.
Well, I told you, he said he's going to do more Japan
I
dates.
know, but what I'm saying is,
But then he shows up,
he got punked out by his own group that he started.
by the way, wearing a Death Rider sigil on his pants. What the fuck is going on?
He got punked out by his own fucking group that he started.
Bro. Will Ospreay has been involved in some weird-ass matches in his career.
Yeah.
Especially when he was younger. And that's fine.
Yeah.
They did a lot of joke shit over there in Progress. That's fine. But, like, because everyone does joke wrestling sometimes. And I'm not going to hate on joke wrestling. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it brings in families. I'm not hating on that shit.
Yeah.
But this makes no fucking sense.
Jesse, I'm going to say it again. He was cucked by his own group
So, and then he got half booed by that fan base.
because they don't like the Death Rider shit.
John has the Big Show virus. That's what's going on right now. So
No.
that's what's wrong with him.
No, the Big Show was actually entertaining. You don't
By the
understand
way,
because you're not watching.
You guys
this
go,
Death Rider
you
shit.
guys go watch that interview with him talking about how he actually wasn't sure about the name and he hated it for the first 5 years. He hated that name
He
because
did. He did. Yeah.
he asked Vince, "What the fuck is a Big Show?" And Vince just walked away from him.
Yep.
And he was like, "What
I've
the
watched
fuck?"
it. I've watched it. I got 10 hours in a car.
And I guess
I watch it.
I guess it just stuck for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know what Will Ospreay's doing. This has been the worst 3 years of his career. It's not even close.
Jesse, I want to repeat it because I need someone to explain to me. he basically got told by the group he started, sit there and watch and take it, you stupid little bitch. That's basically what they told him to do.
Yeah.
And Will Ospreay, one of the best talents in the world, is just doing it? Who's happy here? There's no way. Tony Khan is always happy, so that's irrelevant.
Cocaine helps.
And there's no way that New Japan's happy with the way this guy looks, especially if, and I'm sorry, I would not be excited if I was New Japan and I'm like, oh shit, he's going to do more dates with us?
This shit's a nightmare. Bro.
I wouldn't be excited about that at all.
This shit. And then if somebody tries to say, this is a way to get Callum over. Callum's already the champion.
He's I'm sorry. Getting someone over, even if they're the Intercontinental Champion, fine. You want to move up to the main event. The guy won the biggest prize in the company. How much more over does he need to be?
Anyone defending this as, oh, this is great common booking between the two companies, you keep that shit over where you are, man. I'm out. I'm gonna watch and see what develops. But nothing good is going to come from this, because it can't.
Nothing mildly interesting has come out of this so far.
It destroys a character.
And by the way, with that fan reaction that he got, Jesse, like you were talking about, I'm starting to think, I don't think the New Japan guys are working when they say that this AEW crap is.
They don't like it.
They're not working when they say these things.
They don't, and I listen.
Because by the way, Jesse, baby faces and heels have all said the same thing from New Japan. They can't all be working if it's all negative.
Right.
You said it earlier. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Jesse, the New Japan guys, there's no way they're all being told from the top to the bottom to the heel to the face. They're not all being told to say this is shit because it's going to lead to some fucking 80-man battle royal at the fucking Forbidden Door. They don't like this.
They don't like working with AEW. That, like I said, this relationship's probably going to end pretty soon, as it stands. I wouldn't be shocked if this is the last Forbidden Door, for real. The talent's over it.
But now
the fans are definitely over it.
But now the problem is, Jesse, what are the copes from the sickos going to be when it's all over?
To be honest, I don't care. I don't. It's a fan base at this point. I know you guys don't like Packer fans. It's a fan base at this point that reminds me a sickening amount of Patriot fans during the 2000s and in the 2010s. Like, when the negative stuff happens to you, I don't fucking care. You want to know why? Because you had every chance to be a normal human being and actually try to have conversations about these things. And instead you're like, well, you're just a hater and this and that. And now when it's bad, and you're like, no, fuck you. No, fuck you. Suffer. You fucking suffer because we tried. So fuck the sickos. I don't care. But yeah, for Will himself, this has been two of the three of the worst years of his career. Like, it's not even fucking close. This is dog shit. This is dog shit, and it does not have a positive ending. And if he beats Callum for the title, it's even worse. So, like, it's dog shit all around. Oh, heaven fucking forbid it's Jon Moxley that wins that title. Like, it's bad, dude. This relationship has to die.
Although that would be the most fucking Vince McMahon booking of all time, because remember, John and Vince apparently understand wrestling really well together. That would be the most Vince McMahon thing in the world, that Will Ospreay is the main focus, but John becomes the IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
I tap the fuck out.
I would laugh so hard.
I think I would have to straight up stop watching New Japan for a while.
Now, to end the show on a somewhat good note, Jesse, congratulations to our boy. Formerly, we won't say Slapjack was a good thing, but Shane Haste is now the GHC Heavyweight Champion.
Listen, and so that goes to like the recently released.
You got a shot to do well.
You do, like, I understand why the former Lucas Crucifino is going to stop wrestling.
Yeah.
WWE was his dream. He got to do it.
Yep.
And now he's just like, I don't think anything would be even better. So why would I continue? If that's what you want to do, that's fine. I don't agree per se, but it's his life.
And he's also honest about it.
Right. For the Wyatts, right? For who, because by the way, it's been thrown out there like dude from TNA has called, including called Bo, and been like, you want to continue it here? Because I'm not going to stop you. Now, Nikki Cross, of course, is going back to being Nikki Storm, so we'll see what she does in the Indies.
Yeah.
But, by the way, even before the Whites, talk about a misused talent. Holy shit.
Yep. I will never defend anyone on that one.
No one gets a defense of how Nikki was used in the last 12 years in WWE. You don't have to give up. There is, and really quick, I'll mention Trevor Murdoch is also retiring, or has retired.
He has officially retired.
After 27 years, yep.
But still had a great career after his release from WWE. You do not have to think WWE is the end-all, be-all. Yes, it's the biggest stage possible, probably outside of New Japan on that side of the world, but otherwise...
Well, he held the 10 pounds of gold.
No,
there,
I said he had a legendary career.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm just stating one of the lovely things.
Leroy just wants to hit the end button and go home at this point.
No, I'm all right.
Then let Jesse finish.
I would love to meet him so he could sign my belt.
I totally just had a Zach moment with you because I'm like, where are you right now?
It's not just me.
Shut up.
But yeah, no. So for all those release talents, because by the way, the New Day, jeez. Like I saw the joke from what's his face from HOW, like, maybe I should bring back the company with all this talent that's out there right now. That's crazy. Because the New Day are future Hall of Famers. So, don't give up on your shit. Like, go out there, go work your ass off, like, and keep going, keep growing.
And not only that.
Because you could still have a great career.
And not only that, guys, I'm not even saying this because I'm saying what Jesse was trying not to say, which is that WWE is the top of the peak. Guys, you literally spent how long in the locker room with Cody Rhodes? If they call you back, and that means that you get to come back and you get to have a much better time.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what the WWE has done for people like Alexa
most
Bliss's husband,
part-
who finally got a banger. He just had to put it into AI.
I know. For the most part.
I was figuring if you were going to like that joke because you said Ryan hasn't been able to write a hit in years.
I don't know if I count an AI one, but if you guys want to count it, that's fine.
He
Well,
had
but
help
remember,
with his other half.
remember, he also didn't write it because it was his wife's text.
That was pretty good, too.
Poor guy.
We love you, Ryan.
But he's done well on the circuit, so good for you, buddy. I was just like, she married who? The guy from 2005? What the fuck? I really had a shot if I would have fucking hit her up in 2010. So yeah, here's the thing. Like nigga, I had a shot.
You always got a shot.
That nigga was a terrible one-hit wonder. Here's the thing. For anyone released from WWE, hell, the future releases from AEW.
Yeah.
Seriously,
that's on the way.
That's that has to happen soon.
Ugh.
Go do you. Like, go do the indie god thing. Make a home in Japan. Make a home in Canada. Like, go do you. You don't.
By the way, it's cheaper in Japan.
Right, like you don't have to, like, as much as I might love all of wrestling and I love WWE, I tell people,
It's not the be-all, end-all.
I would love for you to go succeed there because, my God, your legacy is set if it happens.
Yeah.
But it's not the end-all, be-all.
No.
It's really not. So, yeah, that's kind of my final words. Never give up. That's the beauty of Shane Hayes' story. It's another guy who really was kind of thrown to the side, had to wait a year to get released, and has been constantly working his ass off, changing. Like, some people saw him and didn't realize that was the same guy.
Yeah.
So, like, keep fucking working, man.
And
No one will forget.
And by the way, from all the reports, they like him over there, too.
Love him. They love him.
Now, I forget. That's not all Japan. That's Noah, right?
That's Noah.
That's Noah, yeah. It's just weird because I always have to go to you because it's like the Japanese companies just can't call their belts after themselves.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things there.
They're very grandiose in how they announce titles.
Yeah, because
So,
the
like,
international, because Jesse,
GHC stands for Grand Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, because Jesse, the question that everyone on everyone's mind: what is the International Wrestling Grand Prix?
Oh, Jesus Christ! So it's a bunch of companies kind of getting together, and overseas because it's never the American companies involved. No. And they kind of do a little bit of a tournament, and they kind of name their champion. And yet, unless like you are in Asia or China or Russia or whatever,
or in just New Japan,
like you have no fucking idea who the fuck these people are. Like I said, there's a whole world to pro wrestling that people don't know about.
Yeah.
But that's why I love pro wrestling. Like, it's not just WWE.
No, it's not. And that's why we keep doing this show, is because every week there is more to talk about than those two shows. But again, folks, here's how entertainment works. We do have to be cognizant of what you're talking about because that's what you're interested in, so we have to look at it. Entertainment is driven by what you, the viewer, wants.
Right.
So understand that whilst, yes, we always talk about how we watch it all, you can't fit all of it into a 3.5-hour show, especially when the two big companies that are in your hemisphere of the world are, holding up so much of the news time.
Right.
So as much as we'd like to someday become the Wrestling Observer that doesn't sell out, that's going to require you guys to have all your friends go to our Patreon for $1.
Yep. Patreon.com/13cards, subject to change that as 13CARDS. SUBJECT TWOTOCHAGNE podcast. 13 cards subject to change podcast. I always have episodes ready by Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, and then usually the rest of our stuff on the rest of the streaming sites go live by Wednesday night or Thursday morning.
Podomatic will have them on there, and then don't forget, before we know it, we have a local show. So if you are anywhere within an hour or so of Duluth, May 24th,
if you
come see us.
And by the way, if you're only 2 hours away, the I-35 is just a straight shot. But anyway,
down in the city.
So there's no S word up here, so it should be a good drive.
Yep. We still can't say it because it's a 4-letter word.
Because we have not gotten past fucking Memorial Day yet.
Exactly.
And come see us. I'm going to have some new merch for people to buy.
And also,
to help support us.
And also, please remember to always support anything and everything involving wrestling. But as Jesse says, at least stand on your own opinions of it, because that's what hopefully makes it better. Thank you all so very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week. We will be here next week for you, as we always are. And as Leroy said, for Mental Health Month, please take care of yourself before you take care of anybody else, because you are always the most important person to yourself. Thank you all very much, and we will see you guys all next week.
Bye-bye.